my friends? Welcome back. Welcome back. It's author Joe Holt with another Fireside Chat. Fireside Chat's a live podcast where I interview other D-Live streamers so you guys can get to know them on a more personal level. But also we talk about, how to stream and why to stream and all this business. We're going to talk about D-Live news, up-to-date information. There's a lot going on. Without further ado, today's guest, Stagnation. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, welcome.
It's so good to have you, dude.
It's I haven't done a podcast before, like on D Live, so yeah, it's
Oh
good to talk
wow,
to someone.
nice. I always love it when I get to streamers before Fatheaded Noob or somebody else can get them. Like I want to break that exclusive.
I don't
So
know who this
what's
fireheaded noob is. I'll be honest.
you don't?
No, I don't.
Awesome. I love that you said that just now because
plug his stuff. Go
his
ahead.
fat head is going to get smaller. He's been on D Live since it started. He came over with Tidy. He was the first guardian. He's staff. He's like been streaming on every platform in every version that it existed. Like he's a good dude to pick his brain. He's a
every streaming platform.
every streaming platform, like
When it was just in TV.
like just yes, and Twitch and
Well, it used to be.
Mixer before it was Mixer, and like you know what I mean. Like all of he was naming off stuff I never heard of, but he's been a really great source of information to help me understand how to stream. I can see your Rubik's cube.
It's holding my green screen right now. There's like a load of mess behind it. I want to make
No,
sure.
no, I thought it was funny because I was like, he must really like Rubik's cube. It's the only thing he's showing.
Like literally, it's holding the whole thing together.
Okay, all right. Well, we can't even.
It's the pin.
That's movie magic right there. We won't tell him.
Yeah.
All right. No. Fatheaded Noob's. He's a D Live staff. He's good dude. He's a British gentleman that lives in Canada. And he streams under the name Fatheaded Noob, which I didn't even want to say out loud. Like when I was like, that sounds mean. Like I'm not that kind of guy. And he's like, no, that's
your name.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a joke. If you know him, it's a joke.
Well, Joe, I mean, I got approached the other day by two people. They're like, "Oh, I'll help you make a website." Their name was Douchebag, and what was it? Someone with a diaper on. Like that's the name. That's their names. What was it?
Well, I mean, names are interesting, right? Like Fatheaded Noob.
Yeah.
So we only have two questions on this show. The first question is your name. You stream under Stagnation. What does that mean? What how'd you come up with it?
It's sort of a name stagnation for me is like a period of time when you're not moving, when nothing's happening. And it's something that's close to my heart is that I've always tried to avoid that. And like one way to remind yourself is how Batman doesn't like bats, right? You know what I mean?
No, I know.
And
it's
then
just
he
funny,
made it his own symbol.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think that a constant fear is, especially since I have like a history of having energy, sort of energy is a valuable resource for me, at least. And I felt that a lot in my sort of childhood, I had trouble with energy and stagnating within that. So I thought, why not make it your persona? And so every time that you see your name or other people see it, they remind you to stay out of that.
Actually, it's interesting. I never once, in all the time I've been in your channel, never once have I thought you were using the word stagnation. I thought you were using
in its context.
Yeah, your stagnation, right? Because of your logo.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that's super clever. I never put that together.
Yeah, so obviously it has other connotations as well. Yeah, stagnation. It's the nation of stags also. Yeah. And I feel like for me, I don't know why, but like the symbol of a stag is like it represents nature. It's like wild. It's dangerous. More people are killed by stags than they are of like sharks or wolves or anything like that. Stags are dangerous. They protect their territories and stuff. It's always been a symbol for me. I've drawn it a lot I grew up in sort of a rural neighborhood, so I had nature around me. So deer I would see, wild birds and stuff. So for me, it's like seems like a natural symbol to adopt.
Are you a
Oh,
tattoo guy? Because it seems like that would be something you
y-
might tattoo.
yeah. Well, I mean, no, I don't have any tattoos, but yeah, I probably would. But the thing is, I'm an artist as well, so I would never really when when you paint, it's never really done.
Right.
And when you look back on stuff that you've done, you're like, oh my god, what the hell was I doing? It's terrible. And if I were to draw something, draw my own tattoo, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'd probably regret it. But I think that's the point, isn't it? So I don't know. Yeah, I
Well,
haven't developed
I've
a
got a
tattoo for
lot of
myself.
tattoos, and I've drawn them. And like you, I'm an
Really?
artist, and
Now
it's
listen, okay, I'm going to ask you, Joe.
yeah.
i- Is it should, are they in a place that you can show them?
Oh, yeah, I mean, like my whole arm is,
Yeah, we can
sleeved.
have a look.
So like this one, like you were talking about the stag as your fertility symbol.
Keep it.
I have like the, father, nature, the sun, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I very much feel the
Oh,
same
yeah, yeah,
way,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
But
that's cool.
it's so basically what I did
Like
was
Celtic.
I kept I kept the style very graphic, very bold, very
Yeah, yeah.
like basically where I could match it again later, right? Because I've been doing this body suit a piece at a time over years. And I ran into the same thing. I took years trying to draw the right thing, and I realized I couldn't make the same art for a tattoo that I would paint.
It's a completely different art
Hmm.
style as well, especially because you have things like after time the ink sort of fades. It sort of
Well,
spills
the
over,
old
so you
stuff,
get
yeah, the old stuff
yeah.
definitely did that.
So like I think one thing my sister drew herself a tattoo. It's amazing drawing, but I think after time it was too close together, so it's like it's
Mm.
gonna dissolve
Hmm.
and
But
lose
see,
the
if you
drawing.
if you look at all my ink, that's why there's such broad, spaces between all the pieces. I left like
Hmm.
room for that to kind of melt a little as I get old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
melt room.
and
The
interesting thing about tattoo drawing too is you don't think about it, but when you and I can draw, I could draw on a 2D piece of paper, right? I can paint on a 2D flat piece, and that's
yeah, yeah.
very easy to make look good and make look symmetrical. Well, when I designed the tattoo for the front of my shin on my leg, I drew it symmetrically. It was like a tribal mask with stuff around it. Well, I gave it to my tattoo artist, and she said that's not going to work. And I
Yeah.
went, why not? I was kind of hurt, like my ego. I thought I was doing a
Hmm.
really great job. She put it on my leg, and what you don't realize is the right side of your shin is a different size than your left side of your shin because of the way the calf muscles come down from the back and attach.
So it needs to be bigger and smaller. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
like one
Sure.
side was twice as big as the other side, but once it's put on the body, it matches. Visually, it has the same weight. So it's these clever little art tricks, that every art style has those, like actually that's kind of how I found you, but I don't want to get into that yet. I want to ask you the second question, and then I want
Yeah,
to jump into what you do on stream.
yeah.
The only other question is when did you start streaming? But kind of at the same time because they generally tie together. Why did you start streaming? Like what got you started streaming?
Yeah, I think well I started streaming on Twitch. Now I'm kind of a guy who does stuff when he wants to, right? So I didn't have a regular set time or anything.
Mm.
I just strammed, right? I didn't have a camera or anything at the time. I did it on my tablet, and whenever because I usually work at home, but otherwise, if you do that all the time, you're just going to spend all of your time in the same room. So I like to go out and work in different locations. So whenever I did that, I streamed to Twitch, and it was just me doing artwork, and I just felt like doing it alone was such a waste of time in terms of like your time could be spent way more efficiently if you're showing someone else. You're also, so when you're drawing it can be very isolating,
Mm-hmm.
but when, and then you don't get to spend any time, any social time basically.
Mm.
So
Oh, right, right.
to think about you're doing all this time, well, people would like to see what you're doing, and why not socialize while you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And that led to people being interested in what I was doing, and then people coming in. And well, I was working on the game on Deluvian at the time, so people coming in and being like, "Oh, I'm really interested," and then it clicked. I'm like, "Well, you know, if I work in the dark and then try and release the game, no one's ever going to know about it. Now, how am I going to generate a following to let people know about the game that I'm passionate about?"
Mm-hmm.
Streaming just seemed like the most natural way to do that. So, and from there, so okay,
When was
Twitch.
that, by the way?
Yeah, so it would have been about a year and a half ago. I really started. I started very like very relaxed, so streamed whenever I wanted to. On Twitch, I'm actually restreaming, I think, now. So I'm on Twitch, the same account. It's Stagnation Draws on Twitch. So I restream there all the time. We'll get to that later, I think,
Mm-hmm.
talking about that at some
Yeah, yeah.
point. Um, and then obviously, okay, I came to D Live the way that most people now, I would say, well, not most people, a majority of people came over is when PewDiePie advertised it on
Mm.
his channel. Now, I watched him every now and again. I'm not really a fan of him, but I think he's really entertaining. Uh, so yeah, we came over, and I was like, the community here is what made me stay.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I've been streaming on D Live, um, pretty much everything has gotten better in terms of people's interest in the game. I've even got people coming in saying, "Oh, wow, okay, I really love what you're doing. Can I give you a hand?" Like, I'm like, well, yeah, sure, like, whatever. Like, before this, we used to approach people, especially sound designers and stuff, for
Mm.
the game, and it was always a struggle to get them motivated to produce content for it.
Sure.
Now, it was just every step of the way, it was just such a pain to get any sort of any assets or any help from them. But since I've been streaming on D Live, people have approached me with their skills, and they're like, "Hey, would you want this? I give you this. I'll work for you." I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
That's
It just seems like more efficient, if you're an artist, especially a more efficient way to spend your time, because you're sharing what you do, and then obviously getting back, because you're giving out something, you're getting back something.
See, I
And
find your take on that very interesting. Like I have 10 years of college art. I've been making art my whole life, and for me, I like when I'm painting, I want to be left alone. I don't want
mhm,
anybody looking. I don't want to have to talk.
mhm,
I want to be able to be immersed in the process, the creative
mhm,
process, because
yeah,
honestly, I don't have a lot of attachment to the finished product
mhm,
of my
yeah,
art. You know, I have no problem giving it away. Or, you know, I've had museums take it, I've had my college took it, friends, whatever. So it's been interesting that you want to share it and engage and talk and you know have other people involved.
yeah. I've been doing it all my life, drawing, so it's natural to me.
Hmm.
I can cope with people looking over my shoulder and saying, "Hey, that's." I'm like, "Yeah, so what?" Like, it doesn't really matter to me. Um, but yeah, like, I mean, developing as a person is hand in hand with developing your art skills. As you develop as a person, it's like your art becomes better.
Hmm.
And I feel like that. I thought I was an introvert to begin with, Joe, but it turns out I'm a pretty heavy extrovert because of my history. Like, I had a bit of health issues when I was younger, so it's like I was basically inside a lot, and I was like, when you're isolated that much, it becomes kind of scary to like socialize with people.
Hmm.
But after like a bit of time, you realize that okay, your personality is coming out, and you realize that you really like spending time with people. And there are people um, who recharge their batteries by spending their time isolated, and then they feel safe to go out and do stuff. But there are other people who recharge their batteries by spending time with people, introvert and
Hmm.
extrovert.
Hmm.
And I think I'm sort of like in the middle, but I can live in both worlds. I can be isolated
Yeah.
and I'm comfortable with myself alone, and also I'm comfortable with people. So I think that's quite a nice place to be in. I think that you can live with your own thoughts, and you can also,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean. You can stand living with yourself, because some extroverts just can't deal with being with themselves for any period of time.
Yeah, I mean, if you can sit quietly with your own thoughts, you're doing pretty well in your life. That's the
Yeah,
tricky thing.
I think that if you can sit down and do nothing for a bit and just sort of think, then yeah, I mean you're relaxed in your own skin.
So I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but do you want to talk about what was going on with you when you were younger?
Well, I think you mentioned something about you. I mean, did you want to talk about that as well, or?
I'll talk about anything. I'm an open book.
Well, I mean, I think that it's an interesting subject when you talk about something that has impacted your life a lot. Now, especially when it comes to illness, and it's
We just lost your audio. Not sure.
that's
Oh, it's
yeah,
back. Oh, okay, okay.
okay. So it's very easy to let it take over your identity. You know,
Hmm.
like a debilitating illness or something. Um, so I think I've tried to not make it define me. You know, um, because people give you labels like, oh, this he's got this, or he's like this, or oh,
Mm,
and then once you talk about it with people, you get sympathy. I'm like, oh, I was like, well, no, that's not what I want. you know I want you to treat me as just like a normal uh, person or whatever.
sure.
And I think that with people with disabilities and stuff, I think that could be a danger as well. um,
Yeah,
but
I know
some
what you're saying. I sorry to interject, but I know exactly
no,
what
go
you're
ahead.
saying because when I was um, learning to walk and talk right and had the brain injuries and all this stuff, I
Yeah,
realized, and my now ex-wife helped me understand this. She said, "You are empowering the problems. You are making things worse because when
yeah,
people ask you who you
absolutely.
are and what you do, you tell them you're disabled. I'm a disabled veteran. I
Right.
I only used to say I'm a disabled veteran, right? Not I'm
Yeah.
an engineer, not I'm an artist, not right. Just I'm disabled. So it took me years of like really working on like not owning or claiming that disability, right? That isn't who I
Right.
am. That's just
Yeah, exactly.
something that happened along the way. But
Right. And
we do like to talk about it because people like to be able to relate, right? And they
right.
if they're struggling with some kind of severe illness, life is obviously more difficult, and they want to know
Well,
that other people have can understand what they're going through or commit, you know what I mean? Like there's a bit of that,
mm,
I think.
yeah, it's funny that yeah, it could be more difficult. In some respects, I feel also that a life without struggle can be difficult in its own way. If
Hmm.
you're like, if you're given everything, like say you're from a wealthy family or something, and you're given things like that, can be a prison in itself.
That's flat
uh,
out tragic a lot of times.
right?
Yeah.
Because and no one really considers this because like if you're given things and you've got success, and then you're spending most of your life thinking, okay, is this me or was this given to me?
Mhm.
Is this my true? Is this if everything was taken away, would I be able to get to the place I am?
Well,
Maybe,
but
maybe not.
also
We don't know.
not only that, like Jim Carrey is a really great example right now.
Yeah.
He became successful, right? Plenty of money, everybody
Hmm.
knew him, and he said, "I wish all of you could get everything you ever wanted so you could see it's not the answer." Right? Like all the money, all the
Mm,
power, all the fame, anything he wanted, and he even talks about that struggle of I
mm,
didn't know who Jim Carrey was anymore, like who I
mm.
am anymore,
Yeah.
because I
You can see, Joe.
pretended
You
to
can
be.
see he's having trouble at the moment. I think personally, when I see him, I see someone who's had a lot of struggle with depression, and
Sure.
you can see he's sort of yeah
Yeah.
hanging on.
I'm not sure why, but
Uh,
you just got super pixelated. The cameras.
it might sort itself out
Yeah. Hopefully
later.
it'll come back.
Yeah, and I
It,
think people value this rat race too much. Like people want to be
100%.
have more followers. They want more money. They want the car. They want this. It ain't gonna get you where you want it. It's not gonna get where you want to go. You know, it's all about what here. It's all about now. It's all about family. It's all about health. You know,
Hmm.
family and health is probably the most important things. Your community. You know, who you spend your time with, your friends, family, health. Like there's not much more that you need to focus on than that, other than sustaining those things.
And if you don't have those things, you could go out and get them. Like,
Yeah,
right? If people are lonely, sad, don't have
exactly.
friends, family's
Hmm.
not around, you can
Yeah,
create that reality for yourself.
and I think that if there's something that you want, you need to give it out, and then you receive it.
Ah, okay.
Uh, I think because, which goes back to what we were talking about us trying to find help for the game. Like
Mm,
we were trying to find sound designers. Um, we were asking everyone, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. All right, I'm just going to do it myself, and then show that we're working like so hard on the game, and show that we're passionate about it. And then people are attracted to that. People come to you with their own desire to complete the projects and stuff. So we don't have to keep lighting the fire underneath them. They've already got a fire lit, and they come to me
mm.
to you know, and that's the sort of passion I'm looking for when someone wants to work with us or anything like that. Is that yeah, I don't want to keep having to light someone's fire all the time
Right.
by telling them what to do. I want them to come to me with that flame lit already.
Well, let's go ahead and tell people because we haven't really said it. Um, I found you on D Live, and the thing that I really liked about you is you were doing something I didn't see anyone else doing, and it was
Mm,
something I didn't know how to do. So I find
mm.
that very fascinating. Plus, it's art related, so right up my alley, right? So
All right.
what I found Stag doing is developing, and what that means is building, creating a video game on D Live. Like live, you can go watch this man create a video game from scratch. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. And so, how did that happen? How did that like what? When did you just go? Yeah, you know what? The games that are available aren't good enough. I'm making my own.
Oh,
Or was it a
Joe,
different?
ever since I started playing games, all right,
Nice,
I was
nice.
there. I was like, you know what? I see what you're doing, but I think I can make this better. You know, or there was something. There was like an itch. There was an itch that you know that you just can't seem to scratch.
Sure.
There was just a feeling like, ah, yeah, okay, but what happens if you do this? How about this? Like, I think that maybe you can improve this. So I was always very critical of games I play, and there's been very few games that I've played, and I've gone like, right, yes, now I'm satisfied, and
Mm.
now I don't see anything that I can change about this. Um, I haven't seen a game that I really would be satisfied with playing, and so that generates ideas as you play more and more games, and then you're like, well, I've got so many ideas, I can probably make these and they can be successful, maybe. At least, I mean, that's unknown. I mean, if I want to play them, I don't know whether other people would, but at least I'd be happy,
Right?
at least
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
satisfied. So yeah, I mean, it came. I think that I really committed to it a bit too late. I should have started as soon as I knew that I had a passion for it. I
Mm.
should have started straight away. But I've always been drawing. I've always been. I mean, I've made board games. These were. I've always been making games. When I go to the, I remember when I used to go to the beach with my family when I was really young. I used to make. I was like, this is the beach. There's nothing to do. Like, so I used to make bowling games out of the sand. Like, everything. Every time I was doing nothing, I was doing something. So yeah, I mean, I
What's the
think I've
name of the
always
game you're creating now?
the name is Diluvian. It is a first-person retro shooter. If you've ever played Doom, it's
Hmm.
honestly it's better. But listen, if Joe Romero's watching this, you're amazing. I love your game. But yeah, Diluvian is I enjoy it more. I think. Yeah, I really enjoy playing it, and I really think that we've got something really special here, and more people are coming to me and saying, "Yeah, this is I really enjoy playing this. Um, when's it coming out? What are you going to do for it? Can you add this?" And then they're so passionate about it, and seeing that more and more is very good to see other people having an interest in something I've worked on for so long. The dark.
When did you start working on this game?
So this game is developed. It used to be a whole different beast, Joe. The guy who started it, which is not me. I came onto the project after he sort of produced the initial version. It used to be a 2D top-down 2D game first.
Oh, I never saw that
Um,
version.
yeah, I mean, we're going to release this to. Actually, you're a Patreon
Hmm.
member, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So we're planning to add some of this stuff, the backstory to Patreons to give you
I
an
saw
idea of it.
that. Yeah, that you were put that up. That's cool.
Mm.
I I got stuck in the game. You when I bought it the day I met
Yeah,
you, I went ahead
yeah,
and bought the game and all that.
Joe.
And
That's not your fault. That's our fault.
oh, I was like,
Yeah,
I've been playing games my whole life. I can't get out
I
of
know.
this freaking hallway,
Mm.
man. I didn't know how. And then so I
No.
contacted you directly. And
Mhm.
somebody else was like, dude, there's totally a door in the other side of the. I was like, wait, what? Where?
Yeah, right. So I think the version you played, the other developer made the maps for it. Now, um, uh, he's um, he's a games designer. He worked for Dice, the people who made Battlefield series.
Nice.
Um, but the way he thinks is very interesting. He's got a lot of ideas. When it comes to implementing the ideas, it could be very. It needs smoothing down. That's where I come in.
Mm.
I come in and I turn the ideas into something that you can interact with. But the guy's got amazing ideas, and the when I came onto the project, I was so like amazed with what he had managed to do, and the style of the game. And I was like, I can do something with this. I can make this into to like a beast that everyone's going to be uh, um, amazed by. Hopefully,
Do you
uh,
have a projection or an idea of when this might be like not completed, but
yeah.
like the
So
first chunk?
if it all depends on funding, Joe. If we
Right.
have funding, we can work. The other guy, the developer who founded the game, is having a bit of a trouble right now and cannot work on the game full time. So this is why we set up the Patreon. And like I have to say that I'm very um, I have to thank you for becoming a Patreon because it really means, even though it's a small amount, it really means a lot. It means that we can work on the game more, it means it's going to get done faster. Now, if we didn't have to worry about money, we would get done within the year. I think I truly believe that we could get done. And we've got a lot to do as well, even though it's come way. There's so much to left to do.
Are you currently looking for more team members?
We are looking for someone who can provide sound, who knows a bit about Unreal and sound. But yeah, as like funding for us right now is an issue, it's like we can't really. And also, Joe, I don't think that we're really looking for someone who. We're not looking for someone who would want to do a job, for money, who's going to be like, okay, this is what you need to do, and this is how much it's going to cost. I want like passion from someone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can't really sell that. I can't really say I want you to be interested in the project. They have to be interested in themselves and come to it, you know. So because I feel like that, I mean, for example, we had a sound guy approach us recently, and he was very eager. I mean, I liked his enthusiasm. He produced some example tracks, even though I hadn't really given him any idea of what we wanted, which was kind of strange. And it was not exactly what we wanted, but his enthusiasm was good. And I was like, okay, so go away, play the game, very least, play the game and come back to me and then give me something. And he came back and I was like, have you played the game? No, he hasn't played. I was like, well, yeah, I'm not interested. I need someone who knows what the game is. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to
Yeah, because then they're just
make
trying to
music for it.
force their art into yours instead of matching something that's going to blend
Mm,
well.
yeah, yeah. And I think maybe maybe it's too much to ask for, but I think that the end product would be worth it in the end.
I don't think it is. I mean, my family, both my mom and sister, are in the uh, making movies, right? One in the Utah
Mm,
film industry, one in Hollywood. And when you're making these large productions, whether it be like a music video or a movie or a short film or
mm,
something, they literally, the ones you're not getting paid for, they call them passion projects. And so if you ask anybody in the film industry what a passion project is, they're like, "Oh, that's where I don't get paid." But
mm,
there's a reason that that term exists, because they get tired of even getting paid. They get tired of being forced to play a character they don't want to play. Sometimes they were like, you know what? No, before I quit doing this thing, I want to make the thing that I want to make. I don't care if I get paid or not. I don't care if it's big deal or not. It becomes famous, right? I just want to create the art that I want to create. And I,
mhm.
I kind of feel like you've been that developer. Like, you know what? This needs to get done. It needs to get done right.
And I was
And
sick of seeing people flake off of things.
right.
I was sick of seeing projects just die because people found it too hard. You know, they come on a project with passion and enthusiasm, and I look like you don't have what it takes to follow this through. You don't know what you're in for. You're going to be uh, wishing that you had a regular job. You know. Because you're going to look at this and you'll be like, "Wow, what have I got myself into? I didn't expect this." And then your passion will seep out of you, like it's bleeding from you. Uh, it's something that I see a lot. People come in with passion and then sort of see how hard it is, and then just disappear. And I'm like, I don't want.
So is game creation primarily writing code or creating art or
That's an interesting
both?
question, Joe. Yeah. If you're a solo indie developer, I think that's one of the hardest um, positions to be in because you have to know about business. We were talking about this recently on the channel. You have to know about business. You have to be your own business. You have to own your own company. Obviously, you have to do the artwork, the music, the coding, the level design, the games design, everything.
Hmm.
So I feel like I have a wide range of skills in that. I am lacking in some areas in terms of knowledge about the uh, the engine I'm working with. I've worked in other engines before, and I'm lucky to have someone who's just approached us recently and has become a huge asset to us, who has knowledge in Unreal, and he's got a very wide range of skills in terms, and he's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm very happy, and that's because of DLive. Actually, no, Joe, no, it is because of DLive. But do you want to know how I found him?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. So well, I'm restreaming to Twitch. Not that I don't think that DLive is a great place to be, but I think it's a wise thing to do. I have this thing when if someone comes to Twitch on the chat, I'm like, hey, have you heard of DLive? How about you come over to DLive? I give people money every time they come over, and I donate like a dime or something to the chest, and I tell them about DLive. They use my referral link, so I'm bringing them over from Twitch to DLive. And then I open the chest and then they go, wow, this place is amazing. And then they stick around. So like for me, streaming here, dragging people from Twitch and bringing them to DLive, I think is something that people should be focusing on if they really care about the platform. And this is how I found the developer who's working for us now. He was like, oh, what are you doing? This looks pretty cool. And then I said, hey, how about you come over to DLive? Look at this, DLive's amazing. And now he's a streamer on DLive. And now he's working on the game with me. So, yeah, I think that it's in contrast to other streamers have left DLive and in the past felt that was a good business decision. And Joe, we can talk about this a lot. I've got a lot of opinions on this.
We should, but we should start at the beginning because I don't want people to be confused, right? If they're watching this playback on YouTube, they obviously wouldn't know the
context,
context of DLive. So DLive started on the Steemit blockchain. It then created its own another company and DLive worked together to create the Lino blockchain, which was a token. They were trying to turn into a cryptocurrency. At the end of 2019, that we were told we were going to mainnet. Then the last day possible, they told us actually we're not going to mainnet and no more Lino at all, period. And then for those of us in the United States, we weren't even allowed to now reinvest in the new blockchain. So we got the option to transfer our Lino to Lemon so we could cash them out, which I did that. Now though, it feels like the transition it's going rough. I'll be honest. There hasn't been enough information, right? There hasn't been enough encouragement there hasn't been enough people aren't seeing a result, right? Like the streamers that came from Twitch to DLive, they were used to big numbers on Twitch. They came to DLive, they were never able to match or even come close to those numbers in terms of CCU, right? Viewers, donation goals, things like that. And I know a good number of them pay their bills by streaming. So if they're not making the money, they have to go somewhere they can make the money, right? Like eventually, I believe DLive, the idea behind DLive, where we own our content, we keep our donations, right? We are DLive, right? DLive isn't a nameless, faceless company. It's us. And I think that's going to work in the long term. The problem is people got to pay their rent every month.
Right. But like, I understand that you have, I think I disagree with leaving places. I don't think that you really should see it like that.
I disagree. To be clear, I disagree.
I think we're talking about different things here.
Sure.
You can restream. You don't have to like publicly say you're leaving a place. Why even do that? People who have done that, I don't even watch now on Twitch, and I could still be watching them if they were on restreaming to DLive. Right. And I understand that Twitch has an affiliate program, or that you can't restream to another platform. But if they're an affiliate, at least like it doesn't really matter at that point. Publicly announcing and then deleting your channel, or if they're doing that, I don't think is a very good business decision to do, personally. you can do it without even sort of saying you're going to leave to Twitch in a sort of a very public way. You can sort of do it gradually over time, and I think that would be a better decision to do because you're not burning the bridge.
Yeah, it does feel like people are burning bridges for sure. I don't like. I get there's two sides to that, right? If you're going to like when people were on Twitch and they're going, "Hey, I'm going to move to this new platform called D Live." They were on Twitch for a while, telling people they're going to go to D Live, right?
Yeah.
And I know that like LT Zonda, I followed him from Twitch to D Live a year ago. Well, he was continuing to restream to Twitch for months in the beginning, right? For an extended period of time, so that they could continue to understand that he was on a different platform. He was continuing to restream so you could still consume the content on the platform that you wanted to, right? But I understand that, right? Trying to find your audience and bring them with you or whatever. But like putting a clickbait title like I'm leaving, I'm going to Twitch, I'm never coming back, like all these stupid chat sites. I'm leaving in 2 weeks to go to Twitch. Why is that your title on D Live? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, I think the inherent problem with, well, I wouldn't say problem with streamers. If you're, for me, I don't know if it applies as much because I have another thing that I'm streaming. When the entire thing that you're doing is your personality on stream. Yeah, I think that being sensational and being entertaining is their thing, and that's okay. That's all right.
Sure.
But that inherently comes with problems of having to entertain and feeling like you're obligated to be somebody that you might not be, and that mentally might have a few issues for people in the long run. That's the thing they've chosen to do. Okay, great. But I think that for me, I think mental health comes first, but that's another thing, I think.
No, that's an important thing to talk about too. Very important.
Yeah.
I mean, we've continued to say on this show, if you're going to stream, don't try to make up some kind of persona that you think is going to be super interesting.
You can't maintain it.
Yeah, you can't maintain that. You have to do you, and the people that like what you're doing are going to stay. Right? You can't force people's attention. And people can tell if you're being genuine or not.
Yeah. Or maybe they don't care, maybe they don't care that you're being genuine. Is that really who you want?
Right. Well, let's pick somebody, right? Like LT Zonda. He's loud, he's big, he makes a lot of noise, right? He streams at high energy.
Yeah.
That's what but he's not making that up for us, right?
That's him.
He's high energy guy, right? Now, let's say on a different platform, because he's a good example everybody understands, Dr. Disrespect, right? He does that, like, that's his character. He puts on, the mullet, and he puts on all this gear, and he gets, real spicy with his words.
Yeah, he's funny. I've just discovered Dr. Disrespect, and actually, I really like him.
Right, and so that's what we're talking about. If you want to do that sort of gregarious type of entertainment as a character, fine. Just know that you're going to have to maintain that for an extended period of time.
Absolutely. And I think the way Doc, sorry, man, I interrupted.
No, I was just going to say, and like you were saying, is that good for your mental health? Because even if you look into Dr. Disrespect's story, it started to affect his mental health and his life and his family and his marriage. I mean, that's a big part of his story.
Well, I think that obviously you need to look after yourself as well. It might not be because he's put a persona on, but I think that if you do put a persona on, then realize it is a persona. That's better than trying to pretend to be yourself but being someone else as you're doing it. I think that's. But whatever. Some people choose to have a persona, and that's okay, I guess. But I see problems inherent with that.
I'm getting a little seasick if you're spinning your chair back and forth. It's making me dizzy. Sorry. You're
not a Navy man then.
Well, no, actually, that's part of my brain damage problem. I get vertigo with certain stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I know people who get that. I'll be sure to stay still.
Yeah, so I try. Like, I can't play flight simulators and get in helicopters, things like that.
How do you deal with playing games then? What kind of games set you off?
well, that's why I like to stick with simulators
Yeah.
because I can control them, and I can avoid the things that make me feel sick, right? Like
Mhm.
when all these guys are playing the first person shooters and jumping out of airplanes and spinning and jump, like I can't watch that. I just it messes me up. So I'm a there you go, Bama. See, Bama knows. We're more of like a American Truck Simulator, car mechanic simulator, just
Oh yeah.
basically I don't I don't stream so you can like so I could be famous or so you could give me money, right? Like I
Mhm.
stream like you said because it helps, it brings other people into your world and it enriches it, right? You
Mhm.
get to show them what you're doing. I've learned things from you watching your stream. I didn't
Mhm.
know that was going to happen. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I thought live, like you just watch a live stream because it's entertaining, like a
Yeah.
TV show or something, but
But it could be educational as well.
it
Absolutely.
is. You're
Why not? Why
especially,
not?
yeah, especially the type of work that you're doing on D Live with building this
Mm.
video game. I've played video games my whole life, and I guarantee you, most of the people that are watching live streaming have played a video game in some
Mhm.
point in their life, probably a lot.
Mm. This is an interesting subject as well. It's like I don't think that the games industry is very open when it comes to how their games are made. And this is understandable for a number of reasons, but I think that people really have a desire to know.
Mhm.
They really would love to know how things are made, and I think that they sometimes take games for granted, and they're like they're too spoiled in terms of the quality that people get, and they expect more. They expect more, more. They don't really focus on the right things about like enjoying a game, or they just want more content. And when someone comes up to you and they have a response of uh, everything that they get should be provided. It's easy, and once you find out how difficult it is just to get like a basic thing inside
Right.
a game, and it's like I summed it up as sort of making a game or games design is like having a handful of very very difficult things to do, and then thousands of very easy things to do that also turn out sometimes to be very difficult, and people don't
And
realize about
well,
that
not only
huge amount.
that, getting all of those things to work together properly.
Exactly, yeah. And the vast amount of things that you need to do is sometimes like overwhelming, really, because you've got, and then someone comes into the game and sees this really easy thing that could be changed in a second. They're like, huh, why haven't they changed this thing? It takes 2 seconds. Yeah, but you times that by 10,000, you got a lot of
Right.
seconds, you know. And obviously, that's a response people have because they don't understand the process. Now, if they understood the process, they would be like, "Oh, I understand that this might be a thing that is more difficult when you upscale it to the vast amount of features that is in the game." Um, but yeah, it's very difficult to make that user experience from a player's point of view to be as smooth as everyone expects it to be. It's extremely difficult.
Well, I grew up playing like, I mean, I'm 41, so when I was a kid, we had an Atari, right?
Yeah.
So we're just very flat 2D games, right? Little things
Mhm.
pick dropping down. It was
Mhm.
super simple, right?
Yeah.
Now fast forward, I'm about 18, 19 years old. I'm in the military and World of Warcraft is out and this is in
Mhm.
the 90s, right? And I actually became friends with some of the people who worked for Blizzard who were
Oh,
creating
wow.
this game and these building these expansions and doing the concept art right for the characters and that was really what I was fascinated with was like who's writing the storyline, who's creating the characters, who's designing
Mhm.
the clothing that the characters are wearing, right? Like
Yeah.
there's so many little what do their weapons look like, what do their teeth look like. I mean, in World of Warcraft the orcs have pierced teeth. Like who had that idea, you know what I mean? Like there's so there's so much
I wouldn't want to be
creativity.
an orc. I wouldn't want to be an orc dentist,
Right.
having to deal with that.
That's funny. There's but that's what's so that literally that's why I was fascinated when I found you streaming on D Live building
Mm,
this game. And I remember one of the chat conversations I had the first day I found your stream
mm,
was people were like, wow, I had no idea it took this long or was this hard. Like you were working on a wall or a window or like, a piece
yeah,
of
yeah.
detail in the actual
Mm,
hallway of one part of one little, it's like,
mm,
damn, that's how that gets
yeah,
done. Like I had no
yeah.
idea. So
And yeah,
I appreciate the games that I play now more because I met you and saw
well,
you
that's
making your game.
that's very uh, that's really cool that you say that. Yeah, I think that's really nice to hear as well. Um, yeah, because it's natural for us working on the game to do all this stuff, but yeah, people don't realize that nobody knows that this is what you need to do
Well,
to get
what I
something
was
done.
like, what really caught my attention, Stag, was if you run through this hallway you were developing, you wouldn't probably even look all the way to the top of the roof in that one corner in that one like, you know what I mean? You were working on
Yeah,
intricate details that may not even be seen by most of the people that run through the game. But without those like finer details, you don't have a nice looking game. It's not visually entertaining.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, if you don't plan properly, it can stretch your development time. It can times it by 20.
I was just going to
It's
ask that is how do you like I would this would be the hardest thing for me as an artist to make business decisions, right? Like how do you stop creating so that you can finish, right? When do you stop creating? How do you know when it's done? Or is that the
that's a good
problem?
good question. Yeah. Um, so if anyone is interested in starting games or making games at all, the the most important advice I can give any is to start small. Starting big is the most problematic thing for new games developers because they think, "Oh, I'm going to make this amazing, game. It's going to have 3D. It's going to be No, that ain't going to happen. Like, not even for like the best game designer starting out. Whatever, that's not going to happen. Like, forget it. Start with Pong. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean. Like, start where everyone else started from, and then go.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Start with Pong. Do
yeah.
you guys even know what Pong is? Google it. That's it. That's how these old guys started playing video games.
Mm. And I think that there's something to be learned by simplicity. If you start simple, um, you'll learn the mistakes that will help you in the future make bigger games.
Mm.
Like you'll learn how to develop the project, how to plan it, um, and yeah, as I was doing it, I am learning as projects in the future will be going faster than
Oh, so
yeah.
this hasn't put you off game development? You're still properly
Oh,
motivated?
Joe, listen. This game and other games, I'm either making this game. It's the grave for me. It's
It's
me
gonna
passing
kill
out.
you or you're gonna make
It's
it. I dig it.
it's games design, nothing.
I mean, and you guys, to be successful at anything in your life, you have to commit to at that level because
Mm,
there are people who are committing at that level doing that thing.
absolutely, yeah. And if you're not, then that you should be doing much else. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you're doing it wrong.
Or you're not doing the right thing. You should go do,
Exactly. Yeah.
do
Yeah.
what you're
And
passionate about.
I feel lucky. Well, I mean, if it's sustainable, I think it all depends on how successful this game is for me.
Mm.
But I think that no matter what I do, I'm going to still be doing games in the future. But it really depends on how successful this is going to be. But yeah, I really have tried to avoid being stuck in a place working on something that I'm not going to enjoy. I'm going to have to find some sort of enjoyment.
Sure.
Like
I mean,
I'm
like,
always passionate about something, even though it's something I don't want to do. I still passionate about.
do you think you could ever work for a large game company developing a game?
This is a good question, Joe. Are we taking questions from people at some point?
We
Uh,
generally towards the end, but I mean, if a question popped
yeah.
up that you want to address, feel free.
I want to address the addressing.
Yeah, but what's the question?
No, just the questions. Mip, yeah, you're leaving, are you? Okay. Yeah, we're going to take questions later on if anyone wants to give us any questions. But yeah, for now we're going to just riffing at the moment. What was I talking about, Joe? Yeah,
Work
big
if you
games
would be
companies.
willing to work for a big company now that you've been developing your own game for this time.
It's tough. I think that especially now, a lot of people are leaving big games companies to become indie developers, and for me,
Hmm.
that's competition, which is a bad thing. But you know what I mean? But a good thing as well.
I think it's a
They,
great thing because if it sets a precedence of indie game developers being
yeah,
able to produce games that I want to buy and play, then
yeah.
that's a real threat to the large game companies.
I think indie is a threat to large game companies. I think that they've run their course somewhat. The AAA games, I think that they're really destroying their own landscape with what they're doing, um,
Hello,
focusing on
Bethesda.
money. I think people are getting really tired of the shit that's happening right now, and I really think that there'll be a resurgence of uh, in indie games. I think that there's a thirst for gameplay. I think people are playing what the big game companies are making now because that's the only choice they have. I think people there's a huge want for more niche, more interesting,
Hmm.
more of a breakthrough of the norm of what's happening right now. I really think people people are more clever than you um, assume them to be. You know,
Well,
with
something
most of
that
the
I just want to say something that I got burnt out on and why I backed away from these large game companies and started looking for these smaller. I like half the games in my Steam are very small games, right?
yeah.
Indie games because you can see the creativity, you can see the passion, right?
Mm.
And the real kick in the ass is a kick in the wallet. These large game developers think they can give us any pile of trash in a big box and charge us $60
Absolutely.
for it. And then
And don't
release
sorry.
content that should have been in the first game and charge us for it like every
Mm.
6 months or a year.
Well, that's their way. I mean, that's their thing.
But
That's
it's
that's
not good
money is the
content though.
focus. No, no, people are getting sick of it, I think. But
Yeah.
so just to make it clear that obviously people who work on big games companies and stuff, the artists themselves, they're very passionate individually. I'd say that huge amount of passion and enthusiasm and real they put real effort into it, but it's the management of those artists and stuff that is the real
100%.
issue, I think.
We'll give a specific example. Fallout 76.
I think probably the
What
best one you can get. Yeah.
like
Mm.
great art, like it's a
Hmm.
beautiful world, the gameplay, the actual engine, it should have never been released. It was terrible. It was
Mm.
terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
It looked the part, it sounded the part. Good luck trying to play it and get anywhere. It
Mm.
was it should not have been released in that state.
Hmm.
And then they made excuses and stayed quiet for how long? Like
Well, that's the
didn't
coping
like
method. Yeah. It's,
right, but I'm saying that's why your point is so valid. Like these
mm,
indie companies now more than ever have a chance, the indie game developing companies, to be successful because people are over it. They're tired of giving their money to big companies who clearly don't
absolutely.
give a shit about
Mm.
like they're clearly the larger companies are clearly just the people that are in charge are worried about how much money, stockholder stuff, right? They're losing touch with the
Mm.
gamer, with the
Hmm.
gaming experience.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to get sucked into a game and forget the world exists, right?
Mm.
Suspension of disbelief. If you can do that for me and your game is $2 and in 2D, I'd rather buy
Yeah.
that game and play
Yeah.
that game.
Exactly. exactly. I think that's an important point to make. It's like, okay, so you're having fun playing a game, it's $2, or you're having fun playing a game, and it's $60. Which would you rather? Which would you rather
Yeah.
do? The $2. Um, yeah, and I think obviously from what you can tell, there's an inherent uh, people are pissed off, and they're at
Yeah.
their breaking point. You can
Actually,
tell.
I could feel myself getting worked up
Get
just trying to
angry.
talk about
Yeah,
Fallout 76.
exactly.
Like even Rowdy Soul says in chat, Fallout 76 is like a swear word now, you know. And
Yeah.
it's so true, right? Like
Mm.
I
Yeah, and I think that Fallout 76, I think they had a lot of problems, and it was very unfortunate that they all managed to amalgamate into one at one time.
yeah.
A lot of problems was they moved, they had a different studio working on it, but they pushed the wrong sort of marketing. They released at the wrong time. Um, they had to redo a lot of things because heavily multiplayer,
Mm.
and it was a disaster that was just going down and down and down. And yeah, it's a good example of how not to do things. Um, yeah,
Well, so where do you see your game going? Like, is it going to take 5 years to be on a shelf at GameStop? Is that going
no,
to happen? That would
no.
never happen.
So it's going to be releasing on Steam.
Okay.
Um, it will be single player. We would love for it to be co-op. Now, maybe not in this iteration, but these sort of mechanics would be amazing as a PvP game,
Mm.
and also a PvE, a co-op game.
Mhm.
So maybe in the future, but I've got projects in mind after this one, other personal projects that. Um, this game, the projected release is early access this year, official Steam early access, I say, and releasing somewhere within 2021. So
Mm.
within a year, 2 years.
And
This will
how
be
much time have you put into it up till now?
an ungodly amount of time, Joe. Ungodly.
I knew that was the answer. I just wanted to give you a chance to say that.
Yeah, so I've been doing this on and off, like part time, for a good 2-3 years. Um, Pretty much solidly for the last 6 months. When I mean solidly, I mean taking a break every now and again, maybe a day or two, but all the time. I mean, and that's what it needs. That's what you need. If you Have you heard of Stardew Valley?
I don't think so.
Uh, right, it's farming game,
Oh,
very very popular. It's made him a lot. He worked 10 hours a day for 3 years
wow.
solidly to make the game. So yeah, I've been doing 16-hour stream, dropping them pretty much all the time. I stream 10 hours as a regular. And although sometimes I'm doing stuff that I can't show, always working on the game
Mm.
some way, or if not, I'm sort of
Now,
playing the game to relax or something.
do you do you try to stay engaged with your chat in those long streams?
Absolutely, everybody is important. Everybody is important when they come to my chat. Um, a thing that I do when a new person comes in. I mean, right now I'm sort of paying attention to I'm not really paying attention to the chat that much, but every single person is important to me that comes in. Um, if I don't know them, I instantly do some research about them, trying to find out who they are, what they're doing. Sometimes they're into game development as well. They've seen I'm doing game development and stuff. So then we get to talk about what they're doing, and I've met developers that way,
Mhm.
networked with people. But I really think that anyone who comes in is an asset to me, whether they're just a viewer or someone who's interested in the game, or I really think that everyone is important as the next one. Even the trolls, I think, especially the trolls. If you
I
can
was
turn a
gonna
troll,
say,
if you can
oh,
turn a troll, you've got. Thank you, Baron.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
real gift, isn't it?
uh, hey, thanks, Baron. Yeah, Joe, if you can turn a troll, you've got a double fan, basically. You know,
Right.
you've got someone who thought that they were going to come in and dislike everything, but then is surprised and then like, wow, I didn't expect that response. I didn't expect you to care about me or what I'm doing. But
Well,
yeah, I really think that everyone has the opportunity to touch or be in contact with in some on some level.
well, like for this is an interesting thing you bring up because I'm obviously not a troll, but I had something similar happen to me with your stream, which
Hmm.
is I I found you on D Live, but you've been
Yeah,
here. How long have you been on D Live? When like
about a
when
year now. Yeah,
I would
about
say
a
like
year.
a year. So I think you
Yeah.
and I came to D Live at the same time, but I
Hmm.
didn't find you for like 6 months or something.
Yeah, it's strange that there's a lot of people I don't know on D Live. Should get together a bit more, I think.
Yeah, and so anyway, I came into your channel and I was fascinated that you were building a game live. I didn't know you
Hmm.
could just do that and that people were doing that. And so I immediately because now this I'm going to say this is in full disclosure. I when I showed up to your channel, I subbed to you. I went to your Patreon, became a member. I bought the game. That was because I wanted to support another D Live streamer doing something unique, and I wanted
Hmm.
to keep you on D Live, or at least motivate you to let you know that your what you were doing was valuable to the platform. But then I played the game and I watched you. Now I'm watching you build this game, and I'm even more excited because I got to play it. I got to do.
Hmm.
It's a very fascinating thing to look at the screen in my house. Right, there's a computer screen, and I'm seeing you create like
Create the
a
game that you're playing.
window, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I turn
yeah,
that off and get into that world, literally like jump
yeah.
into that world. It's
And Joe, I've Patreons now get access to the build that we're working on right now. There are elements that we would like people to have feedback on that we're working straight away with, and also there's an issue that if you release something that's not done, you can't really show that to the wider public really because they'll be have a
right, right.
bad idea of what the game is. So if you do want to like help us develop, go to the Patreon. I drop the lowest tier gets access to the dev builds anyway, and you can help us. Actually, Joe, we're developing um, like some RPG elements for the main character, so you can change your stat strength or
Nice.
some abilities that we need like people to test that. So if you wanted to test
Okay.
it, then
If you don't mind, could you drop a link to your game and also to your Patreon in chat just so the people here can
absolutely, I'd love to. Yeah, so we
see what we're
have a
doing?
website up recently. So do you want me to go to your?
Yeah, if you'll put that in my chat,
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
just I if you got because we've got these guys all interested now about your game, and it
Got more
makes
rolled up,
it
got more
makes sense
rowdy.
to share it. So diluviangame.com if you want to get the game.
Yeah,
How's
we
can
just got
you
a new website.
link your Patreon
Yep.
as well?
Yeah, the Patreon is.
So guys, look, if you're on D Live and you're like, "Hey, I really like this individual. I really like the content they're creating," and you want them to stay, encourage them, right? Tell them they're doing a great job. Follow them,
Mm,
subscribe to them, donate to them if you can. If you can't, go to their website, share the link, right? Like there's ways that you can help get the information out to help these people. And if you don't, they may just
mm.
disappear and turn the camera off and go away
Absolutely,
because
it's a very possible thing to happen. Yeah. And I'd like to say that the monetary donations are hugely appreciated. You don't know how much we're using this for what we need. But even if you just come around and support, just hang around the channel, like even with Joe, if you just hang around Joe's channel as well, I'm sure he'd be appreciative of that.
hmm
But yeah, just hanging around the channel is like it's enough to be supportive.
well, because especially right now, Stag, that with the D Live drama, I guess is a good way to say it right now, right? There's global partners leaving, there's new people coming,
Hmm.
there's old people going. that's just
Hmm.
life on any platform,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But to be fair, there aren't a lot of viewers on this platform right now in terms like of the number of streamers and the number of
Yeah.
viewers,
Do
right?
you want to know how I see it?
Well, I want to ask a question and then I want to hear what you have to say because
All right.
I'll forget my
Forget.
question because of my
All
brain
right.
damage. Yeah. How what would you say to streamers that are here now that are struggling or they feel like they are
Oh,
because of the lack of
yeah.
donations, because of the lack of viewers?
Oh, uh,
What do you want to say to
what would I
encourage
say?
them?
Change your mindset.
There you
You're in
go.
the wrong mindset, really.
It's a
Like,
perception problem, not a DLive
it is.
problem.
It is
Okay.
absolutely. So take a streamer here. Take Chill Outdoors.
Hmm.
Now, whatever he gets 80 plus viewers. Now, why is that? Why is that? When you're streaming here, you're getting no viewers or whatever. Why do you think this guy's coming in with 80 viewers every single time? Now he's bringing them from other places to D
Hmm.
Live. Now, if you're not doing that, then you're doing the wrong thing. You know, if you think that the platform should support you, sure, yeah, I mean, great, but you're thinking that's the wrong mindset. You should be developing your own following outside of and sustaining yourself. So no matter what happens to the platform you're on, you'll still be able to survive outside.
Hmm.
And that's the sort of mindset you want to cultivate. And if you ever wanted to follow Chill, he's got an amazing business sort of attitude when it comes to that. He's yeah, he is an asset to DLive, as well as he generates his own sort of following in himself. So it's a matter of perception, really. I mean, you could be failing on DLive, you could be failing on Twitch. You know, change your mindset of what that is. Sure,
Hmm.
you might get better on Twitch, you might not. You know, but if you don't start thinking differently of how you can improve yourself in that respect, if that's be successful, then I think that's the main issue, not the platform you're on. I mean, imagine so DLive is small, but imagine being friends with people who founded it. Imagine being the one who's spearheaded their success. Imagine where that's going to put you in the future, where you're the one who made it happen.
Right.
Like, imagine how useful that would be to you,
Right.
right?
I mean, I had that thought like watching large streamers come from other platforms to D Live and they've got a big audience and me never live streaming before anywhere except D Live. So I'm building my audience very slowly, like literally
Mm,
one relationship at a time, one
absolutely, yeah.
one
It
person at
takes
a time.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, but I want it that way. I don't want 100 people in my stream with like 60 of them being bots and nobody talking
yeah,
to
yeah,
them. That's
yeah, yeah.
that's not that's not I don't need that, right? I don't have an
Uh,
ego that needs that.
yeah. Do you want people or do you want bodies? You know,
Yeah.
do you want numbers?
Well, I
Like,
want friends. I want to have
exactly.
conversation with friends that we find a place to hang out together. No matter where you are in the world, we could get together and hang out. I think that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm. Yeah, no matter what sort of position you're in, you always have somebody there. And
Yeah.
I think for some people that's really important.
Yeah, like
Some people,
I live alone and by choice, right? Because it allows me to be more relaxed. Um,
mm,
but I still am a human being, and I still
mm,
need to interact with other human beings. I think to maintain a sort of
everyone
mental
does.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mental health is something that people don't really focus on. It's a it's a tragedy, really, that we haven't given people the skills, or our society doesn't really value mental health skills, and we're only now starting to realize how valuable keeping a healthy mind is. It's just
where are you in the world right now? Like what country?
oh, I'm in the UK. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought, but I don't think we'd actually said that. And I'm in the United States. There, this is how bad it is. Mental health awareness in the United States. I was driving down the highway, and there was a man that I knew that lived in my town that was schizophrenic, severely schizophrenic, and he was an older gentleman. And he was literally walking down the middle of the highway, screaming, pulling his own hair out, hitting himself in the face, right? Walking down the middle of a highway. So I called the highway patrol, and said, "Hey, there's this mentally ill man walking down the
Yeah.
road. Can you help?" And they literally said, "What do you expect us to do about it?" And I
Mm,
was like, I mean, isn't there like there's a man walking down the middle of the highway. You tell me that's not
mm,
highway patrol's problem? Also, he's clearly mentally ill. And I said that to them. I go, "Don't show up guns drawn because the guy's yelling and screaming and hitting himself. I know him.
yeah.
He has a
Yeah.
mental health problem. Go easy, don't go hard when you show up." And they basically just totally wrote it off. And I was like, wow, is our country that messed
Well, I
up?
mean, the police can't really provide
No,
what
but
you need.
here's why. But Stag, here's why. They closed all the mental health asylums because people were
Oh yeah.
being
Well.
abused. People were being
Mm,
taken advantage of and tortured and
mm.
terrible things, right?
But that's showing like a more of
Yeah, so they
a
closed
problem.
all the mental health hospitals, and these people are now ending up in prison,
Mm,
which obviously
mm,
they're not getting help there either, right? And they're being
mm,
victimized because
mm.
the whole
Well,
thing is set up to fail.
absolutely, yeah. And it starts with the breakdown of the family. You don't have that
Mhm.
environment to help you with the people who care about you, and then you get people that come in that don't care about you, are supposed to help you, and they really can't provide that connection. This is actually quite close to home as well. I live in a shared place, and we had someone who um, initially was quite clearly had a problem, and I watched this develop, and there was no one who could come in and help her. She had no friends, she had no nothing, no family to really help her, and I saw her decline, and I was like, well, there was one time exactly the same as you were saying. She was out on the road, laying in the middle of the road, like wanting to get run over, and then the police bring her back home. I only find out this later. They bring her back home, and she then starts messing up her place, and the police have to come back.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, you really, you really shouldn't have. You should have taken her away at that point. You know, you should have made sure that she had some sort of mental help. But yeah, we just don't understand mental health like we should do right now, and it's kind of a shame, really. Where I see so many of my friends just confused as to why they don't have the skills to deal with like depression, and it's like because it's not your fault. It's just like we're not learned how to deal with these things,
I think
and
that's
no one
intentional,
tells you.
though. I think society has intentionally put.
Well, when you're talking about intention, you're thinking about there's somebody there making all the decisions, but I think it's just everyone's falling by the ley line uh, because I don't think, yeah, maybe the focus is more money for other people. Um, but
Well, I
I think
think
that's a whole new discussion.
I mean, you have to be. Not
Anyways.
everybody is has the same level of empathy or sympathy either,
Mm.
right? So you have to be willing to be, number one, be introspective and look at yourself, and then also be empathetic and sympathetic, right? You can you and I think it's a bad idea to get stuck in the empathy sympathy, right? Instead, take some action, right? This person is clearly could use some help. Try to help them if you can, right?
Right.
I did that for a number of years with homeless, drug addicts, right? Substance abuse issues, mental health issues, and it started to become a negative thing in my life because I
Hmm.
was always around really sick people, and
Yeah.
I started to become sick, and I realized
Mm.
you can reach out and help other people, but you have to also have personal boundaries and personal
Oh,
space.
I think that yeah, you really need to sort yourself out. Really, be selfish before you can be someone who can support people. Really,
I
you
didn't
need to sort.
know, nobody had ever said to me, you need to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
until my 9-year old son walked up to me one day.
Wow.
He put his hand on my shoulder, he stared me right in the eyes, and he said, "Dad, you know how you're always telling us we need to take care of ourselves?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, I think maybe sometimes you should try to take care of yourself. And
That's
I was
that's
like, oh shit.
yeah,
Like,
that's crazy for having to wait that long. Like, and for someone
yeah.
so young to tell you that and make you realize that. That's like,
It was a come to Jesus moment, is how I like to
yeah,
say it. Like,
wow, that's really nice.
he
Yeah.
could have walked up and punched me in the nose. I would have been less surprised. You know what I mean? Like, it
Sort
was
your shit out.
amazing. Out of the mouth of babes, right? And literally,
Absolutely.
I started. That's literally that year is when I moved to Hawaii, started working on my mental health and my physical health, and
Mm,
started writing books, trying to help other people in real
mm.
ways. Like, my son was the catalyst for that, and
That's amazing. That's
I
an amazing
think
story.
I think maybe people just need to hear that. I needed to hear that.
Mm.
Hey, you need to take care of yourself. It's important. Get some sunshine, drink some water, get some sleep.
And yeah, I can say that like it as well as like people are very focused about rights now.
Mm,
Like, um, everyone I think is a bit too, I would say a bit too focused, but uh, it's very easy to. I got to word this very very carefully. It's very easy to think about like men's, uh, women's rights, but I think people don't think much more about men's rights or how men are treated in society,
mhm.
and like I think it's a real problem that uh, people assume that men can sort of deal with it because they have to be strong and all that stuff. It's like, well, yes and no, but it's more complicated than that. I think that sort of attributes to why men are committing suicide, is that because they're maybe not really considered as being people that you should help because they should just get over it. I think that's
Yeah, and I don't want to speak lightly on this subject. I won't give you a specific number because I don't remember it, but the overwhelming majority of suicides in the world are generally young
mm.
to middle-aged men. And
And that inherently is just a complicated thing to go into as well, because
sure,
obviously
sure.
women have an issue with how how they're treated, and men have an issue with how they're treated. But I think the silent part of it is that people don't know the side that men have to deal with sometimes. It's okay. I would say that the whole summary of this is it's not ever um, us against them. It's never about being an enemy to anyone. We're all doing this together. We're all people, Uh, it's never one sex's fault or anything like that. It's the strongest unit is the family, and whatever that is to you, it could be a man and a woman or a man and a man. It doesn't matter. What's each is the most important, and that means that no sex is good, better or worse than the other one.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, every one of us is a human being and is a sentient being, right? A thinking.
Speak for yourself. I'm an alien, mate.
Well,
Okay, think too much. No, I'm joking. Yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
that's the part that we should focus on, right? That's what I love about the DLF community is it's an international group of people, right? Young, old, middle-aged,
Mm,
every color hair, every color skin, every color eyes, every like all right. That's the beauty of it because that's the world. That's the joy of this world is we're all so different and unique and we could share and enrich each other's lives by especially with the artistic expressions, right? Music and drawing and art and creative type things. I think that's the best part of the human soul. And honestly, it's going to be one of the best ways for you to really get to know a person is to examine their artistic expressions. And so like the fact that we're all getting together, that's what's drawing all of us together, right? That desire to create and share and art and beauty and time and right. That's fascinating to me. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I stream so I can meet you and talk to you,
mm.
right? Not so that people could meet me and talk to me. although
Mhm.
obviously that happens.
Mhm.
And that, for me, that was actually a positive side effect of live streaming on D Live. Was I thought I'm doing it to meet them, forgetting that they're meeting me. You know what I mean? And then that started to enrich my life.
Oh yeah, I mean, Joe, thinking them as viewers is the wrong way to think. They're individual, obviously people with skills that you could learn from as well.
Right, right.
So why not? Why not? Everyone has a story about what they've done in their life and they've come to where they are. Why not learn from that? You know, I think the streaming is an opportunity to learn from other people who think that they don't have a purpose or they don't think they're good enough to learn from other people.
Well, the big,
Um,
I'd like to say
Joe, I
that,
think I think you know when you said hosting you is probably a good idea. I think it is great. I'm going to host you so other people can actually follow this real time. I think that's better
okay, yeah.
than streaming as
Yeah,
well. So
because
let
in
me
the
give you.
conversation that, if the audience wants to be involved, it's definitely more seamless in that way. But
Go ahead.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say that the thing that I didn't expect to get out of D Live was a sense of like personal fulfillment and this group of friends, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't know why. I know it may sound weird, but like I didn't realize I was going to meet a bunch of people from all over the world and become friends with them, right? I didn't really understand what live streaming was. I had only been around it about a year. I had never tried to live stream myself, right? I actually I didn't know why I would turn the camera on. So I didn't turn the camera on, right?
Yeah.
And then my buddy Luke said, "Dude, you interview people. You like to I'm a cultural anthropologist is the phrase, right? So I meet people and I record their story. That's my passion and I've been doing it for 10 years.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and writing
I
in books.
I did. I thought this was just a podcast thing. So
Well, so when I got to D Live, what Luke helped me realize, LT Zonda, I'm talking about, what he helped me
oh, Luke,
realize, yeah, yeah. I know
such
we've
a Luke.
been buddies for years, man. He,
Oh, before D-Lo.
yeah, well, yeah, for Twitch. I met him on Twitch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the first streamers I ever watched. Him and Co Carnage. They're actually the only streamers I watched besides my
Mhm.
youngest son, who streams on Twitch sometimes. But my point is, I didn't realize I was going to become. I was going to get this huge group of friends from all over the world who
Mm.
we've genuinely enriched each other's lives. We've genuinely like helped people pay medical bills and helped people keep the lights on and help feed their families and helped encourage them when they're going through sicknesses or ill. One of my buddies, MTFD Shane, he streams here on D Live, firefighter, had his second heart attack, had open heart surgery with like 2 days notice, and it was D Live people that were messaging him in Discord and calling his brother and calling his family. And when he didn't wake up after the surgery, we were the ones loving on them and loving on the family and sending positive vibes. And it was a problem. He didn't wake up for a while, and we were very concerned.
Mm.
And then he did, and then the first thing when he was coming out of surgery, he wasn't like aware of anything. His brother said he kept asking for his D Live family. Not
Mm.
right. You're completely out of it. You have no conscious thought.
Mm.
He was asking for his D Live family. It
Mm.
was like that's
Yeah. And
huge.
I think that's the key to D-Lo. And it might lose if it gets more. Is the community here is pretty amazing. Like I've not seen another place with this sort in that, and I think that it. I hope that it's going to continue. I don't know what they've got for the future, but the way that they've set this up, and I think this is the key, is to it really complements the community sort of aspect because it's very easy to stream, it's very easy to share your story, and it's very easy to support someone as well.
I
The
would
way that they've set up the
disagree.
lemons,
It's not super easy to stream, but I know what you
well,
mean.
you can just you press the button and you're there. You know, the thing is that you're already set up as a streamer as soon as you make an account, right?
Right on D Live, yeah, it's very easy to
Yeah.
actually do it. But I just meant like getting OBS
Oh
to
yeah,
work right and
yeah.
getting
Oh right,
overlays.
right, right.
Yeah, like stream
To
just
do it,
it's
do it
not as
properly.
yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah.
do it properly. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'd say. It's not that easy. But once you
It's
figure
easy to.
out how, it's super easy.
Yeah. Okay, so it's easy to donate to people as well. Like you, with the chest as well. It's easy to watch and then get um, lemons for the chest and then donate to some.
Hmm. Hmm.
Obviously, it's easy to then get those lemons and then donate and whatever. But yeah, I've been able to. The reason why I've stayed on D Live or been able to keep streaming is because of the generosity of people who've supported what I like and what I do on here. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to physically, financially, at least
Hmm.
sort of continue on.
See, and
So,
that's what when I met you on D Live streaming, building this game, that's why I was like, here, have some money. Because I
mm,
know indie game developers, there's never enough money, there's never
it's
enough
tough. Yeah,
time,
tough.
right? So I wanted you to be able to stay. I wanted to encourage you, right? That's where the monetary
Mm.
stuff came from. What I didn't expect was liking you and liking the game and
Mm.
liking, you know what I mean? Like, not because you were unpleasant. I just, that wasn't, I'm autistic. So I don't really process like,
Oh
do I
yeah,
like him or don't I like him or right? It
yeah,
was
yeah.
more of like, I know how to help him. Let me help him. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden I'm like, wait, I'm having a good time. Like I've been in here for 4 hours. I was supposed to go do something, like, and I realized like, that's why I was like, I got to get Stag on, man. Stagnation. You're who you are as a human being is
Mm.
is beautiful. Like you're right. Your sense of
Oh, thank you.
focus, your commitment, you're kind,
Mhm.
right? You're helpful. It's
Oh, it
you
means a lot. Yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
like you're the best
Mm.
kind of people. So
Oh, thank you.
and we
Yeah.
would have never met or had a conversation had we not found each other on
Mm.
DLive probably. I mean, you're on the
Mm.
other side of the world, right?
Yeah,
From
I know.
from me.
And the developer who's recently joined us is literally, almost literally, on exactly the other side of the world from where I am. So yeah, it's amazing that everyone can connect like they can. And yeah, that means a lot, Joe. Thanks. I didn't realize that that was your reaction channel.
Yeah.
Really nice. Um, well, when it comes to me, I think that I try and see through um, assumptions about people,
Mm.
um, and I try and find out like what drives them and why they do the things they do. I think that really interests me. It really intrigues me, and which is why if anyone comes to the channel, they've got an attitude. I'm like, okay, so why is this person instantly got an attitude on the channel? And I find that intriguing to find out their motivations
Mm.
behind that, and try and get into their mindset of why they would be acting like that. So,
Actually, you said something earlier about flipping trolls. I
mm,
I had a person come in. This is, and I was just I was a new streamer, so I didn't really understand that I was having a real impact in people's lives. Right?
mm,
I did. You don't
mm.
understand that
Oh,
at the
right, yeah,
beginning. So
mm,
this individual came into my chat and was immediately, it's all about me, right? And he was making it unpleasant in the chat for other people who were trying to
mm,
enjoy the content I was creating.
yeah,
Well, your gut instinct, well, maybe, I mean, that's probably not the right way to say it, but the first thought was, well, just ban him, get him out of here, he's
right,
screwing stuff up.
mm,
But the way he was saying things wasn't like just to be mean, it was more like there's something wrong, you know what I mean, like he's upset.
right,
So I contacted him off, off stream, like through Discord, and it turned out he had a family member like incredibly ill, probably about to die, and was very emotional
exactly,
about it. You know what I
exactly, yeah,
mean? And so
mm,
I'm friends with this person now because I took the time to look through, like you were saying, like you're referring to.
mm. And if you were to react negatively to that, he would react negatively to
Well,
that.
he may
Nobody would
very
be better
well
off.
he may very well kill himself. You know what I mean? Let's say your
Mhm,
significant other is about to die and you're completely distraught and then somebody lashes out at you like that, right?
mhm,
Like you we we have to realize as streamers, you can affect somebody's life in a real way with what you say and how you act on stream.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
So it's important that streamers don't just, you have to have some level of decorum and control with what you're doing and saying, right? Like you were
yeah.
laughing at me this morning because last night I got drunk with champagne. I had a live stream. Me and my buddy took our shirts off. We were laughing and having a good time. He's my longest mod. He's been,
I had no context, by the way. I
yeah,
came
yeah.
in.
That's what
I
I
was
was.
like, I was like, what?
That's what's so awesome about it, Stag. I love that you had no idea what was going on. That makes me happy because that's what it's funny sometimes, right? Like I never
Mm.
do that. I've never done that before. It's my 1 year anniversary today, live streaming on D Live.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
Thank you,
Happy.
man. So we were drinking champagne. My mods were on, I had Dale Bold in there. I had Tuna Surprise in there. And we were just laughing, having a great time, just really enjoying the conversation and the company. And so I made a joke. I was like, yeah, nips out for Ninja Guineas. Because if you're X tagged, you can do that. Well, part of why I do that is because I feel there's a serious inconsistency between, well, men can stream with their shirts off, but women
Oh,
can't, right?
that's an interesting subject.
So
Yeah.
I occasionally take my shirt off on stream specifically because of that, right? Like
Mhm.
I there's no real way for me to protest sexual inequality around the world in a real way right now. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I'm going to show you my nipples because you say I can. I think it's just as inappropriate, right, as if a woman takes her top off on the live
Uh,
stream, right? Like
mm,
that's not what we're doing on D Live is what I'm
yeah.
saying, right? Like if you want to
Right.
be on Pornhub or Chatterbait or whatever these sex sites are, you can go do that for a living and fine, right? I don't mind
Yeah.
that. But what I'm saying is like that's not what D Live is.
Mhm. If you're watching kids, don't do that.
Yeah,
If you,
yeah, keep your clothes on when you're
keep your
streaming.
clothes on. Um, but yeah, I think so. Um, in terms of D Live, yeah, I don't know what the future is, but I hope that it will continue for me to be able to um, come here and have this community. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Has it helped you to stream? Were you developing the game before you were streaming on D Live?
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Have you ever developed the game and not streamed it?
yeah. Oh, all the time. I'm doing it. Even when I'm streaming now, I'm developing the game when I'm offline.
Okay. So
Um,
does it help you? Do you feel any more motivated or
mm,
whatever when
interesting. Yeah.
you are live streaming working on the
Yes.
game versus not?
So yeah, that's another aspect of we were talking about this at the beginning as well. That's another aspect of why I stream as well. It's a really good friend of mine who hopefully he's okay now. He's in Thailand. He's another streamer on Twitch. I don't know if he's streaming on D Live anymore, but his name is Christopher Kant, and he told me the reason why he streamed, and I was like, wow, that's a realization that yeah, that makes sense. He cultivated a an environment for himself for it to be more of a hassle not to stream or create an excuse of why he doesn't want to stream today because he's an artist. He works while he streams. So sometimes he doesn't want to, if he doesn't feel like working, right? But it's more of a hassle for him to come up with an excuse why he shouldn't stream as just
Right.
to stream. So
Yeah.
he's made it easy for himself to work, and I think that's important. It's cultivating a environment around you
Keeps you
that
honest.
keeps you keeps you doing what you know you should be doing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's the one aspect for me. Sometimes I get people like begging me to stream or like sending me messages like, "Why aren't you streaming?" Like, "Oh, well, I'm working on something that might not be interesting." It's like, "No, I want to see what you're doing." Like,
Mhm.
and also waking up and uh, having something to focus this gives you a purpose and a reason to dress up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like not sit around in your underwear. Not that I do that, but like mentally sit around in your.
I sit around
Um,
in my underwear. That's okay. But don't turn the camera
yeah,
on, you know? Well,
it's
well, you
below. It's
actually,
like it's
yeah,
business on top and the
yeah,
party
yeah.
below. Is what you're
Nobody,
saying.
listen, we only stream from the waist up, man. No,
Yeah.
but I like what you're saying because you see, like, I'm wearing this, like an Aloha shirt, right?
Mm.
Well, when I started streaming, all of a sudden it became a game now. I go out and all over town, different cities even, drive into like Goodwills and Salvation Armies looking for new Aloha shirts to wear on Fireside Chats. And I have like a dozen, maybe 15 now, different shirts, and every one of them was like a different trip out, found a shirt, got a guest, had a fireside chat, wore the shirt. You know what I mean? It became like this bigger thing that was getting me
Mm.
out of the house, doing
Mm.
doing things that were entertaining to me, but really not expensive or difficult or anything. But it
Mm.
was enriching my life off stream. I That surprised me.
Yeah, that's good. So, how long have you been streaming on the same time?
I started streaming March 1st, a year ago today, last year, 2019.
Um,
I came to D
and
Live January of 2019 and modded for Zonda every day for like 2 months straight.
mm,
And then learned how to stream and learned what streaming looked like. And right, that I learned a lot from Luke. So it was really nice to not just jump into streaming because it wouldn't have gone well, and I may have quit right out of frustration. But what I did first was learn how to stream, then
mm,
what to stream and why to stream. Then I started
mm.
streaming.
Yeah, I really like Zonda. I like his energy. I feel I lurk on, get involved. I think he's very busy most of the time on his stream. So
Hmm.
yeah. Um, Ultimately, I'd like to uh, present him with the game, so maybe he could try.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
And being a
uh,
UK guy, he's all about
he's in the UK
supporting.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, he's about
yeah.
supporting the UK streamers for sure. Well,
Mm,
any streamer really, but
mm.
especially in the UK.
Yeah, I like his enthusiasm.
So, all right, so we could start taking questions now, guys. If you're in the audience and you have specific questions for myself, author Joe Holt, or Mr. Stagnation, just go ahead and put them in chat. We'll grab them as they pop up. They could be about D Live, streaming, personal stuff. Just know that if you ask a question that we don't want to answer, we're not going to. Nothing personal, but it's good to have boundaries, right? Things that you don't have
Boundaries are
to.
very important. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have, if you're a live streamer, you don't have to give people everything. You can keep
it's your
some,
space. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
you can keep some things to yourself if you want. Um, but I wanted to ask, I think right now is a tough time with D Live with this transition. I'm I'm not going anywhere because I'm here because of the people that are here, right? I'm not
Yeah,
here because of the name of the company. I'm here because of the friends I've made. And
yeah,
DLive exists in the fashion that it does today because of us, because of the work we've done. So I'm not so quick to just walk away. And, if let's say you switch to Twitch, because it's a big platform everybody knows, right? Well, I would have to set up the same scenes and the same OBS and the same stickers and do the same, like, it's all the same work. And I'm starting over, right, with audience. Why would you do that? Like you
mm,
already, and then people go, well, it's the numbers. We want more web traffic. We want more donations. We want. And I'm like, how about that's the
wow,
problem? How about
yeah,
what can you give? What can you contribute
mm,
to help this
absolutely.
thing?
That's the wrong way to see it. Yeah,
Yeah, what can you do to help?
bringing chill outdoors again. I mean, he has the opposite attitude with it. So I've talked to him. He's like, yeah, I don't even care about the numbers, and he gets them too.
Right?
He's like, yeah, I don't really think about numbers. I just think about having a good time. He's not really focused on that because he knows that um, he well because it's not the why he does what he does, and because of that, or because of his skills of gaining an audience outside of D Live, he's able to draw in a pretty significant audience, and I think that's important. It's like you're underselling yourself if you think all you need is numbers on your stream. It's not what life is all about. You know? You got to think beyond that. You know, it's just such a small way to look at it. Look at your
Yeah, it's I I'll be honest, I had a few days, literally like 2 days of doubt about streaming on D Live.
yeah.
And they were recently, and they were
Mm-hmm.
consecutive days.
Mm-hmm.
You
All
know what
right.
I mean? Like I
Yeah.
got into a funk. I was like, what are we doing? Is this a waste of time? Why am I live streaming? I had to kind of go back and gut check myself. Like, why am I still turning the camera on? Do I really care about live
Mm-hmm.
streaming? Well, no, I don't really care about live streaming. I realize that. But you know what I do really care about? You and Rowdy Souls and
Mm-hmm.
NJ Bales and Omega. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I do really care about those people. And I know for a fact my life is better because they're in it. And I know for a fact that I've saved at least one D live streamer's life that was suicidal. I know for a fact I did that. Right? Like, it's been amazing. It's been an incredible and amazing year, and I can't wait to see what D Live does and turns into. Right? I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I have no idea whether they're planning to take platform, but hopefully streamers are going to be number one focus. You know what I mean? I know they've got like their blockchain thing going on, but I really think that if they continue to support streamers, I think they've got something here beyond that. You know.
Well, we can't control that, can we? What they do, right? Like,
No, I mean you could, but I mean it might be a little
that's what I mean.
go there
Like,
stuff.
all we can really control as streamers is our channel.
Well,
How do
you
we
have
speak?
influence on.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, ultimately, this is a live streaming platform where we create live content, right? That's the only thing that I
Mhm.
truly can have 100% control over.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
stream, my channel, and I can't have 100% control over that because that's the live streaming element, right? When you bring in
Mhm.
a live audience, that throws the curveball. So it's like if you want to be a content creator, then you can have 20 takes and you could pick the perfect one and you've got time to overlay graphics and you know what I mean, overlay audio and get your credit. It's pretty and you don't have to put yourself out there. You don't have to be live, right? But
Mhm.
creating live content, that's you have to be yourself, you have to be honest, you have to be consistent
Mhm.
and you have to be able to multitask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how many
It's
things are you
surprising how
doing right
difficult
now?
edit. Well, right now, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually. You know what, Joe? I was actually thinking. Right. I can talk with Joe and work on the game at the same time. Like, this has been interesting. I've really, um, uh, been engaging in it and interesting. So I've, not, but I can multitask. I do usually. But yeah, in terms of things, I mean, I've got usually 5 programs open when I'm working on the game. You got the art program. You can have Blender sometimes. You get the engine itself. Then other sort of stuff going on. Yeah, I'm working in many different threads when it comes to that.
So they're bringing up
Surprising.
in chat, that about viewership in terms of certain games, like playing PUBG, getting good views. When they're doing variety games, they're not getting views. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Are you going to be the guy that plays the same game every day for years? Because some of those guys do that, and they're the ones that are known for that, right? And I can't do that. I can't get up every day and turn on the same game. I would absolutely be miserable, right? So if you're going to be
Unless it's Diluvian, though, Joe.
what's
If
that?
it is, unless it's Diluvian. I mean,
Unless it's
could,
Diluvian, because of
exactly.
course let's
But I mean, like, yeah, for me, I love playing the game, so I can turn it on. I can play it over and over and over again. But
well,
yeah, I
it's
can
finally
imagine this.
because it's a game that you made.
Oh yeah, because I'm developing. Yeah, yeah. I guess. Yeah, I'm changing. Yeah, of course. But if it's a game I have no control over, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like to be
Mm,
frustrated. There's been so many games that I've loved and then been totally frustrated with X things in the game. So
hmm
then there's nothing to do about that. You just go try to find a different game that doesn't have those problems, but then it
mm,
has other problems,
mm,
right? So I really that's why I was so fascinated with you and what you're doing is like this guy was like, yeah, games aren't good enough. I'm just going to make one because I want to play it. That's
mm.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
right.
That's how anything in the world gets done, right?
It's being pissed off and then wanting to change and changing it, doing something about
Yeah,
it. Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I love your
Um,
content, man.
yeah. Thanks. Like, there's the complainers, and then there's the people who get things done.
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I fucking hate this, or there's like, well, what are you doing to change it? Like, are you doing something to do it? You can't really complain about it unless you're actively changing something about it.
Right. I'm like
I
I like to say I'm a doer. My best friend is a perseverator, right? A thinker. He'll plan the same thing 15 ways. And I'm
right.
standing over there with the first piece going, "Can't we just
Mm.
put this on?"
I think that's important to bring up, Joe. I think that people are taught how to give their opinion and think a lot, but they aren't taught how to not think and shut their brain off
Mm,
and sleep at night. They're
right.
not taught how to shut down and really focus on what's important, and which is sometimes doing something or actions. Um, People love debates, great, but have you taught yourself how to turn your mind off?
Mm.
Nobody really has these skills, and that's why a resurgence of meditation is becoming popular now, because it's people have discarded it as like, oh, that's yeah, I'm not going to get into that. No, it's important. It's an important skill to learn how to turn off sometimes. You know,
One of my
we've got these.
favorite sayings about meditation is you should meditate for 30 minutes every day. And if you don't
Mm,
have the time to meditate for 30 minutes every day, then you should meditate for an hour a day. Right? Like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're worse
yeah,
and you need more
yeah.
help. And
Exactly.
honestly,
Yeah,
you nailed it, man. I'm an autistic engineer, right? Aviation electrical
yeah.
engineer by trade. My
Oh,
brain doesn't turn itself off ever,
mm,
right? And I really struggled with the
absolutely.
hyper thought
I
process.
imagine. Yeah.
And so it took me, I've been studying meditation and Buddhism and, well, a lot of world religions, but since 1997, I started meditating. And it was the
Mm,
first time I went to Japan and lived on Okinawa for a year. And it was really hard to do, to just sit there. Don't say anything, don't do anything, just sit there. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can do that. And now I prefer quietly holding a space, right? Especially in
mm,
nature, right? Outside. Just go be. Just
yeah.
exist. It's reinvigorating. It's very
Yeah.
good for the body.
Omega here says start with 5 and work with 1. Some people can't deal with sitting down
Yeah.
1 minute. Like,
That's a really
yeah,
great point, guys. Like do what you can do. Start somewhere. That's what Stag's
so, yeah.
saying. Do
This is
something.
something I've found. Yeah, this is something I found that like people want to change their life, right? They want to
Hmm.
change their habits, and they're like, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be this way by this time, and they don't get to do that because of some reasons. They built it up so much, and it becomes this massive thing, and they don't fulfill their goals, and they depressed about it, and then they don't end up doing anything about it. No, forget about that. It's the smallest steps. You start with the smallest steps, and that's leads to bigger steps.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's cliche, but sometimes it cliche works because it works, so if you ever want to change your life, start with the smallest possible thing, and when you complete that, your mind will give you like a little bit of a reward by saying, "Oh, I
Hmm.
managed to do." No, it's like when it comes to drawing, I used to draw for like a minute a day or something. Sit down with the paper, stare at the piece of paper. Even if you don't draw on the piece of paper, you've sat down, you've got a pencil there, you've got all
Hmm.
your stuff ready, and then leave it. Don't even draw. And that's your goal for today. Not even drawing. I mean, and that's how small sometimes you need to
Hmm.
to set your goals. And then you're like, oh, I'm here right now. I feel good. I've done what I needed to do. Let me just draw a little bit. And then you'll find yourself. It doesn't have to be related to drawing, but you'll find yourself in a position to do way more than you would have done if you had a bigger goal. Um, yeah, so I think focusing on like small steps is yeah,
Well,
like gambling or giving up smoking or something.
people were talking about, making good habits. To really understand how, you have to understand that you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your
Mm.
subconscious mind, for the average human being, takes 12 days to change. So if in a minimum of 10,
That's if you're average.
right, an
If you,
average of
yeah,
12, some people longer, but you have to retrain your subconscious. So let's say there's some new habit that you want to have, but you hate it. Like, I'll pick something easy, flossing your teeth,
flossing, right?
right? You hate
Everyone brings that up. Yeah.
you hate
Mm,
flossing. Well, if
mm,
you force yourself to floss for 2 weeks straight, it's now going to be a habit for you, and you're not going to have to force yourself to do it. You're just going to
mm,
be doing it now because that's
yeah.
part of your subconscious routine. So I've done things like that, right? Like, people lie to themselves all the time about their situation. Why not lie to yourself in a good way, right? Maybe you're messed up.
It's all about tricking yourself into
Yeah.
something you know
You
you
can
can do.
change, like you said, the problem isn't with D Live, it's with the streamer's
It's your attitude.
perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's life. Dude, that's a life
Mm,
lesson right there.
yeah.
Like, it's
And
not the
once you figure
circumstances.
that out, once you figure out that you're able to do these things, but I think that perception of oh, it's someone else's responsibility to make sure I'm successful. Think about that. Think about putting it in those words. It's someone else's responsibility to make myself successful. Now think about that. Like that doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So there you go. Changing your mindset.
So I like to do a little segment where I ask you for two things. One, we're
I
trying
ain't taking
to.
my shirt off, Joe.
We'll X tag later.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to help new streamers or even people that have been streaming a while that aren't
Yeah.
finding the success that they want.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I need two things. One, definitely don't do this. It's going to screw you up. You're not going to be a successful streamer. And
Hmm.
two, this will definitely help you be a successful streamer or a more
Mm,
successful streamer.
right.
Just things that you've personally found along the way.
So you're asking me two
Something to
things.
do and something not to
Mm.
do in terms of
Well, I
hurting or
mean,
helping.
yeah, okay. So don't expect anything. Don't expect people to go just because you're there. I think it's important. Uh, yeah, if you're working in a vacuum, like if you're just streaming a game, you're playing a game, you're sitting there the game, ain't nothing gonna happen. No one's gonna. I mean, it's kind of saturated at the moment. Um, Streaming a regular time is important. I think I don't do that because I value.
I don't either.
You know what I mean? If you want, it helps for people's habits to then go onto your channel expecting something there. So if you want to be successful, I guess streaming at a regular time would help generate those relationships so people can come to your channel. I don't do that because I don't feel like I value mental health over feeling like obligated to be somewhere where I don't not necessarily want to be at the time. Um, So, but if you feel like that you're approaching it as a or something, maybe that'll help you by setting a schedule. Maybe you're that sort of person. I'm not, so um, to reach a broad audience, having off streams is yeah. So sometimes I stream on the Discord as well to encourage people to come to the Discord and generate a community outside of DLive. So I think that definitely thinking outside the box, so to speak, in terms of generating a place outside of the platform you stream on as a place that you can control. Like a Discord is very useful. You tell them to go to the Discord, say, hey, if you want to post a link, go to the Discord so they get involved in that community as well. I think that's important. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
I'm gonna put my Discord link in chat since we're talking about
There you go. Go to
it.
Joe's Discord, everybody.
Actually, I don't have a schedule now because of what you said. When I first
Really?
started streaming, I streamed for 112 days straight without taking a break because I don't even know why. I just
Yeah.
thought that was what you needed to do.
Mm.
And like you said, it became a negative mental health thing for me because I was
Mm.
forcing myself to sit there on sometimes when I didn't want to be.
And people aren't going to watch that. They're not going to be gravitated towards that. If you don't want to be there, they're not going to. If you're the person who set up the stream and you don't want to be there, why should anyone else want to?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
So I actually went now. I can do that because I'm a casual streamer, right? I'm not paying my bills by streaming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you are, right, look at LT Zonda. That man streams every day consistently because he's paying his bills with that money, right? He has to put in the time because he has to make the money to pay his bills. Also, he does it though because he's passionate about streaming. He created Streamers United, Streamers Connected. I can't remember. His own streaming company for years, doing live events around the UK just to promote live streaming as a job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant, right? But
Yeah.
that's what I'm. If you guys, I want to make that distinction. Is I'm a casual streamer. I stream whenever I feel like it. If you want to be successful and pay your bills with it, you need to have a schedule and you need to be consistent.
And I don't think is what people think it is. I don't think that people have an idea of it being glamorous. You get loads of money from it, and like some of the top streamers do, but they're beholden to their audience now. Even though they some of the top Twitch streamers make a lot of money, they take a break, they lose a majority of their following, and they're locked into that, and it can be a very isolating. Having to be there every time in the room. If you're doing that, you could be an IRL streamer. But
we'll look at Co Carnage. He has the world record for the most consecutive days streamed at 2,000 days straight.
He's also got a beard like yours, I think, right?
I was gonna say I haven't been watching him the last 6 months, so I don't really remember. But he was saying like, I've gotten married, I've had 2 kids, I bought a house. Like since I started streaming, I can't keep streaming every day. It wouldn't be fair to my family, right? He goes, I never take vacations. I've been offered streaming type promotional gigs if I would go to Vegas or go to wherever to do it, but I can't leave the house because I have to stream every day and be consistent. Like it was screwing up his life in real ways. And he said, I would rather end my streak on my terms, right? And now it seems like he's a happier, healthier person because he can come and go as he pleases. You can, like you said, you can be chained to your stream if you stream every day the same game, the same hours that that could. And well, look at LT Zonda on Twitch, 500,000 followers because he played GTA 5. He quit playing GTA 5. He dropped to less than 10 viewers at any given time and left the platform because it collapsed because he switched games.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I find if I try to game, I don't get any viewers because I'm not a gamer, right?
Yeah.
I want to
Well,
engage
yeah.
with the audience. I want to
Yeah.
talk to people. And when I do that, my
Mm.
viewership goes up and my interest level goes up.
Well, I guess it all depends on who's on the platform and stuff. But I really believe that if you pursue something you're passionate with, other people are going to recognize that passion and
Hmm.
follow you. So whatever you do, um, do something for one. I mean, doing nothing is probably the worst thing you can do, um, by far. Like I've got this experience. Doing nothing is the worst thing. But if you're doing anything, do something you're passionate about. Find passion in what you do. Otherwise, it's going to be you're gonna work hard all your life and not get much from it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, guys, do you have any questions for Mr. Stagg? I saw a few comments, but I haven't seen any real direct
Yeah, post
questions
your
yet.
questions now. It'll be interesting to engage with you guys to see what you think.
Yeah. So, do you see an increase in your audience by restreaming? Because I know that somebody brought that up before. One person said it hurts. One person said it helps. Do you want to
It
kind of talk
hurts.
about that?
Yeah, I think it depends on how you do it. If you have for the prefixes and this person's from Twitch or whatever, it all depends on how you present it. I think
Hmm.
no one's going to want to go into a place that's full of like um, restream bot from
Yeah, that's
Twitch. This is
super
the name
annoying.
sticker.
Yeah.
You've got a sticker, and the sticker doesn't translate to the deload, so it produces the address of the sticker, and then it fills the chat with shit. And because there's like, oh, what's going on? I'm not having a conversation. It's reading numbers and stuff. No, I think that having it on the screen is what I have it. All the chat on the screen, so everyone, if they want to talk to other people from different platforms, it's there. I think restreaming is important to draw from other places and don't put all your eggs in one basket as well.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's necessarily needed to um, go somewhere else and say, "Hey, I'm leaving this place."
Right.
It all depends on where you choose to hang out and why publicly say it if you just do it anyway. And yeah, because the people who have left DLive, I haven't really followed because I don't really go to Twitch. So
Well,
they've lost my viewership as a viewer. So
yeah. I mean, if I have time to watch live streamer, I'm going to go to D Live and find somebody that's live.
yeah, I hang out on DLive. But
Yeah.
I, again, I could hang out on Twitch, and you know that what's the difference in that? I just hang out on Twitch and visit other Twitch streamers, and
So there's two
that's
thoughts on the restreaming thing. My initial reaction, just because I used to build computers, then I built websites, then I ran web traffic, and then I became a
mm,
live streamer. Okay, so in my mind, as a person who used to run targeted web traffic, you're not fully monetizing your preferred platform if you're restreaming, right? You're not getting all the viewers on the platform, you're not getting all the donations on the platform. They're able
mhm,
to consume your content without
yeah,
being on DLive. So to
mm,
me, that's a negative. However, the thing that restreaming does for you is exposes you to a much wider audience, and it gives you a
yeah,
better chance to, to have more viewers.
yeah.
Do you think there's any need to try to convert people from their given platform if you're restreaming, or do you think just let them be on whatever platform?
Well, I actively do that. So
What do you
you're
mean? You
asking
actively
something.
try to pull people from? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right, right,
yeah.
from
Remember, I
Twitch,
said that I try to
right?
pull people from Twitch, but only because I get their affiliate link as well. So everything they donate, I get 1% of, which is nice.
Uh,
So um, yeah, if you didn't know that, if you go up to your avatar in the top right on DLive, you click that and you see user referral.
mhm.
If you give someone that link and they sign up with that link, you get 1% of everything they donate for the entirety of the time they're on DLive for. So
Wow.
if you want to support DLive, you you can share this link and you get monetary. You get a big donator who comes to DLive. You get 1% of all those donations throughout the entirety of the time, and that, if that adds up, you could get a pretty significant income coming in from that if you think about it. Now,
Yeah,
if you
passive
bring
income.
2,000 people to D Live, think about how much money that would be bringing in for you. So
Yeah, you could
it's
arguably make more money doing referral links in the long term than streaming yourself.
absolutely, yeah. And I've earned money through, and I think that that's one aspect of something that you can do if you to a help yourself and b help uh, D Live to grow. That's something that you're doing.
Mm.
Uh, there are people who have done that, have been denied VPs and stuff, which I'm sure I understand the idea behind that. I was on a streamer's channel that was denied VP, even though there must have been another reason I didn't know or something.
Mm.
That was a strange thing, but yeah.
Well,
Actively.
I remember when I applied for Global Partner, um, they denied me, and I ended up realizing that it was a really good thing, right? Because of
Oh right.
there's a lot of
Yep.
stress involved with, at the time, X number of CCU, right? Large amounts of donations and
Mm-hmm.
all this sort of thing. And I didn't want to focus on that. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
focus on if there's 150 people or if there's 30 people. I don't want to focus on if I've been donated 3,000 lemons or 150,000 lemons that month, It just wasn't important to me. But now I'm a little more mature, I think, about all that. A year later, a year into streaming,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a business. D Live is a business. We are our own brand, our own company, every channel, right? And if there isn't money, if there aren't viewers, this business is going to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I can't be so callous anymore about how many viewers I have or how many donations come in or any, right? I
Mm-hmm.
still don't cash out. I return the money I'm given back to the community.
Yeah.
But I want to see D Live succeed. That's why I'm
Yeah.
continuing
It's a
to
great
do
place.
these
Yeah.
shows and I'm continuing to highlight streamers
Yeah.
because there's incredible people here. There's
Mm.
incredible community and it
That's
still
right.
exists.
Mm.
It still exists
Yeah.
on D
I
Live.
mean, be like chill outdoors and go and get your following of yourself, bring it well to
Mm-hmm.
be an island of productivity. Like, why not?
Well, one positive thing we could say, or let me rephrase that. One helpful thing we could say if you want to be a live streamer is what Stag's talking about, right? Like, put out some tweets, talk on Facebook, talk on Instagram, right? Like, use other social media platforms, wherever you find yourself, to find new viewers to bring to D Live, right? Like, if you don't have enough viewers on D Live, go find some and bring them to D Live. Introduce them to D Live.
Because I think this community we've got on the live is great and scaled up. It could work, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it continues as how it's going.
I'm
So.
still a believer in what we're trying to do here, what D Live started out to do, which is return control of content creation and streaming to the actual people who are creating the content.
Mm.
That's, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see
Mm.
here, and that's why I'm involved.
So, Joe, I got some questions for you, I guess.
Okay.
You you write books. You're an author.
Yes, sir.
What's like been the book that's impacted your life the most that you'd say?
There's two. My first book, obviously, just I wrote a book called Aloha Joe in Hawaii. And
Hmm.
that was when, like I told you earlier in the story, when my 9-year-old was like, Dad, sometimes you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, after a year of trying to take care of myself and writing daily, I was writing, like, journaling, just because it's healing, cathartic
Mm.
process.
A journal process. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And after a
Yeah.
year, I realized there was a lot, I learned a lot, I grew a lot. And there was a lot in those notes that I wanted to share with my sons, because especially my youngest son, because he's the reason I was even doing it. So I took another year to figure out how to print a book, right? How to get a cover design and an ISBN registration number and put color photos in it and edited out all the crazy stuff, right? That you wouldn't want like a 10-year-old kid reading, basically. And so that book really set the stage for me being an author. But then I went through a whole, I've written 10 books at this point, published 9 of them. And my last book, The Healing Power of Love, was that was life changing for me. You know, my grandparents got really, really sick. They ended up in the ICU and were dying. My mom told me call and say goodbye. And I
Mm.
was living in Colorado in the middle of the United States. My grandparents were living in Alaska, and I refused to say goodbye. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm like there not because I don't understand that people die, but because
Mhm.
my grandparents were clearly not getting the correct care. They weren't being taken
Right.
care of.
Yeah.
So I gave up everything I owned in this world and got on a plane and went to Alaska. And like
Mm.
within 12 days, I was able to get a flight and be in Alaska and gave up the house, my car, my motorcycle, every business. I $25,000 in new stock for freshwater aquariums.
Wow,
You
you
know,
gave up your motorcycle?
I just walked away from everything because
Must have been serious.
my grandparents' lives were on the line.
Mm.
And there was no tangible object that was more important to me than
Mm.
my grandparents' lives, you know?
Mm.
So living with an 80 something year old or two people that are basically in their early 80s, that's an eye-opening experience when you're
Mm.
30 something, you know? It was a whole
Mm.
lot of reality really fast, let me put it that way. But every day for 4 months straight, I made every meal. I cleaned their house. I went to every doctor's appointment. I got them off the poisonous medication. I taught them how to eat healthy. I got them onto, essential oils instead of like they
Ah.
had my grandmother on Coumadin, which is a rat poison, but it controls blood like thin, makes it thin or thick. Every week they had to give her more poison. Every week she had to go in and get needles stuck in her arm to test the levels of poison to see if she needed more or less. It was
Oh my
it
God.
was killing her, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
taught
sounds
her
like
how
it.
to use coconut oil and lavender oil on her scalp, and it did a better job than that medication. Now
Yeah, I think
she's
that what
well,
this brings up another good point as well,
yeah.
of modern medicine and what we think that we don't know. We don't know so much about human body. It's and the fact that we think that we know, that's the problem, I think. Like
Well,
modern medicine doesn't know how
this
with
is what
drugs.
happened. During that process, my grandmother was having severe chest pains. We took her
Mm.
to the emergency room. My grandpa's off doing something, like getting her medication or something. My grandma's screaming. She's having a heart attack. While I'm holding her hand in the waiting room of the ER. We get
Mm.
her back into the table, into the back room, hook her up to all the machines. Things calm down a minute, she starts to have a heart attack again. Well, I studied about the human body and the way the electrical signals move through the body. And right here on your left forearm, basically, like here's your elbow, just past the elbow on the top of the forearm, if you smack really hard and rhythmically, faster than that, right? Like you can actually send a new signal to the heart. You can change, that's the heart meridian. And so I was doing that to her arm. The other thing that you have to do is you hold your finger to your nose, breathe in and out one side, then you hold your finger to the other side of your nose, breathe in and out the other side. What that does is it resets the left to right balance in the body. And so that's what heart attacks are, is an imbalance in that signal. So I'm again, remember I'm an electrical engineer. So I was like, let's address it electrically. And so
Right.
I literally stopped the heart attack as it was happening. We stopped it, and she's hooked up to machines, so it's tracking all of the things we're doing. The doctor comes back in the room and was mad at me because she didn't have the heart attack, and he goes, "Well, she doesn't have a heart attack. We can't treat her." And he got mad and left, and I was like, "We don't want her to have a heart attack. We don't want her to be treated. Like we want her to be fine and not in the
Yeah.
hospital." But it was this
Mm.
incredible like moment where I realized Western medicine wasn't going to be the answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
So that anyway, the
Obviously,
long version, I'll wrap that up. But is the long version of that story is that was 2 years ago. My
yeah,
grandparents are alive and well, and they're doing great. And that
right.
book, The Healing Power of Love, was the day-to-day living with them, trying to help them, including the heart attack thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's in the book. That was heavy. So it was like I was writing books to help and for fun, not to be commercially successful. So that allowed me to keep writing whatever I wanted. Right? If I talked to a few publishing houses and they were going to try to pigeonhole me into writing basically fiction novels, where I want to write nonfiction culture anthropology.
Mhm.
So I refuse to take these contracts because I won't. I don't need to make up fake drama stuff. Life is incredibly complicated as it is.
Yeah.
There's plenty of interesting things to do. So anyway, I've traveled. I moved 36 times between 2011 and 2018, traveling, writing, helping people.
Yeah.
And what was cool is last year when I found D Live with Zonda, it allowed me to continue traveling around the world, meeting new people
Mm.
without having to get on a plane or pack a bag, or you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I do have some disability stuff, and it became difficult for me. I had over a dozen surgeries between 2017 and 2018, and
Yeah.
and I had a few more surgeries in 2018, and it got hard. Things got
Mm.
difficult, and instead of just like being depressed and going away, I found a different way to do the same thing I was doing, and D Live was that way. Like this is the 52nd show we've done on Fireside Chats on D Live,
Yeah.
and
That's
like
amazing. Yeah.
maybe one of them, I know two of them were repeat guests, but it's like 50 unique guests on D Live, and I
Mm.
didn't interview or write 50 pieces in 10 years of traveling writing. I did 50 in like 9 months,
Mm.
right? So it made me considerably more productive as a writer and an author and a culture anthropologist to be on D live streaming. Because if you write a book, that takes about a year to write a book and have a book in your hand. Well, the information's completely different now, right? It's a year later. So that's what's great about live streaming is we could turn on the camera right now and talk about what just happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to me. I mean, what keeps you turning the camera on? Like that's what keeps me turning my camera on, right? Because I found,
Yeah.
like you said, I found something that I'm passionate about,
Mm.
and I wanted to share that with the world.
Yeah. Sometimes if I do something else, I go away a day or two to streaming. Like, I'm really looking to. Can't wait to start streaming. And I don't know. I feel sharing the game with people is important to me. I think uh, I I love working on it and love doing things. And there are people that come in and tell me like, "Hey, I really want this in the game." Or I don't know. I like sharing what uh, seeing their response to what I'm doing is encouraging
Hmm.
when you're creating the content as well. So
Well, for me, when I met you, I'm not a game creator. I'm not a coder. I'm
mm,
not right. I'm an artist and I'm a D Live guy. But you
mm,
totally got me sucked into that world now. I'm
yeah,
fascinated now by like
yeah,
I don't know why I never thought
process.
about it, but like the fact that you could build whatever game you wanted, that never
Mm,
occurred to me.
yeah. Well, a lot of people who got into game development, it's that realization that, oh, wait a minute, I can make these things. Um, and that realization means that they obviously go on to making games themselves. But
Mm,
I think a lot of games developers try and hide their development till it's ready to go. And I think, yeah, that there's reasons for that because if you're not ready to release, people can lose interest if they see what kind of stage it's at. And they
mm,
get tired of seeing the same sort of progress that's slow. That's why you never see a game until it's released because it's like um, people uh, have the idea in their head and then they go, "Oh, it's that I won't look at it again." that's why it gets released. But I think people are very responsive to the process, and I think
Hmm.
that
That's
people
my
will
favorite
need
part.
to know. Yeah.
It's my
Mm.
favorite part is watching your creativity come out of your head and materialize on the screen.
Sometimes it's really good that we discuss something. Hey, let's put this. By the end of the day, it's in the game.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, that's
That's
really
got to
cool.
feel good when you're working on such a big project to actually
Mm.
be able to take a piece and put it in and be
Mm.
like, okay, that one's done. That's one less
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, exactly. And it slowly gets there. It does take a long time, but that's part of the process, you know.
But that's why they're called passion projects.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
All right, guys, look, we've been going. Wow, dude, we've been going for 2.5 hours. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you guys have questions, we keep asking. There's not been
Hmm.
a lot of questions. I think we're doing a good job, Stag. That's how you know they don't have questions.
We've already done everything to
We're
see that.
entertaining. Yeah, that's how you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. But like, if anyone, um, maybe where the game's going or that, what games I've got planned for the future. Uh, my mic is messed up.
Yeah, for
Is my
some
mic
reason
okay?
your audio is dropping out. I can now that you're aware and I'm aware, we can affect it here. Go ahead.
How about now? Is that good?
Yeah, that seems clear.
It might
It's
be
only
the
it's because sometimes
distance.
it cuts out every once in a while with Discord. It just happens. It
Mm,
because
it
your
might be
tone.
my Discord settings.
Well, no, it's yeah, it is. It's a gate setting, but there's automatically set the gate, or you can set it yourself. And
Let's
depending,
see if
you've
I set it
got
myself and see
you've got a
if that.
deeper voice, so when you start to be a little more pensive, your voice drops, and the gate
And
doesn't
then
always
it's
pick that up.
automatically saying, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll try this maybe.
That's a setting, by the way, guys. Under in Discord, on there's the little gear. If you get into there, you can set your voice gate.
And I like it that people tell you that. I mean, no one
Yeah,
ever sometimes no one ever tells you that your mic's messed up and you're like, wow, have I been spending like 5 hours here and no one can hear me?
yeah.
Come on, guys. Like,
I've had people not tell me my mic's muted for 30 minutes.
and this is another thing that people are scared to tell someone what the truth is sometimes, but sometimes,
Mm.
they would love to hear
They
it.
seriously need the
You
help.
know.
I will tell you, I'm a Dane Bramage dude, and I need all the help I can get. I love that though. You know that's what's cool about the family. If you build a nice group, then these people genuinely want to help you. You know, they come in helping. They don't come in to be unpleasant, right? They're not going to troll you
Mm.
for making a mistake.
And it doesn't really matter if they do anyway.
Well, right, yeah, you could totally let it roll off your back. All right, let's see. Okay, what quick question? What do you guys think of DLive moving from Lino to the Tron blockchain? I I personally don't care. It doesn't affect my reality at all. How do you
As
feel,
long as
Stag?
there's a platform, to continue us doing this, and we get. I mean, there were issues recently that no one could see me when I was streaming, and I thought that okay, on the platform I am streaming to, at the very least, anyone who's chosen to follow me should be able to see me.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm.
hopefully that this could be fixed. And I talked to Tidy about it, and he was like, "Yeah, we don't know why this is what this is causing it, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, there's been a
hopefully that.
few bugs. Like I ran into a bug a couple weeks, well, like a week ago, where the live streams and the rerun streams were getting all mixed up. So
Mhm,
you couldn't see like just at the top all the live and at the bottom all the
mhm.
reruns. Because I don't watch reruns. I'm not going to watch a
Me neither.
rerun
Yeah, I
ever.
disagree with reruns really because
Completely.
yeah, because when they come to see who's following and they say, "Oh, this person's oh, it's a rerun." Oh,
Well, it's a live, it's literally called
D
D
live.
Live.
Right, right. But Twitch is called Twitch, but you don't have to Twitch on it. You know.
Right. But it's like if if I come to D Live and I never allowed reruns on my channel, and here's why. That's rude and greedy. If you're a D Live streamer and you're live, then you deserve the audience. And if you're not live you should be willing to get out of the way and let one of the other streamers who is actually live have that audience. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to be a content creator, go to YouTube, put up videos, be a content creator. A live streaming platform is not the place for reruns. But that's just how I really feel. And I can say that because I'm just a dude, just a streamer.
Obviously there's a there's a
I
place
love
for it.
hosting, Omega.
Yeah. Hosting.
Hosting
Yeah.
is awesome. I love that we can, like, if some days I get online and I'm not going to stream at all, I know I'm not going to stream at all. I go find somebody that is live and I host them.
It's a
Even
good way
though
to,
that zero number host, it's still good. It's still more exposure.
yeah. And hosting is a good way to slowly show other streamers that you're streaming, you're putting the work in. And it's a good way to, because going onto someone else's stream and saying, hey, follow me, do this, I'm a streamer, check my stream out, I was streaming this, I was doing that. I try not to, like, especially with the game as well, I try not to, I mean, I love it, so I talk about it a lot, but I try not to go on someone else's stream and go, hey, play my game, you bitch, or whatever. Like,
Right.
but if they ask me what I'm doing, I'm going to tell them. I think it's important to do that. But hosting as well is another way of saying, hey, I'm streaming. This is how many viewers I've got. Not that it matters, but it's like hey, I'm a streamer. I am interested in you. I'm trying to reach out to you, and that's all done with a single stroke of a button, and they go, oh, that's nice. Like, you've brought these viewers in for me. I'm going to check you out later or whatever, and then hang out with you. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's not, there's hosting someone with the zero viewers is not considered self promo, right? That's because if I have a decent audience, right? And I know a streamer who's maybe a new person, doesn't have much of an audience. Like I said, I will give them that zero viewer post because I know that my people are going to come through at some point during the day. And if they see a stream that's live and it's interesting to them, they're going to go over there and follow that person.
Yeah, it's every little thing helps, I guess,
It's funny too. I totally felt it. This is telling on myself a little bit. I totally felt jealous the first time I introduced like one of my good friends, one of my good viewers, it's always in my channel, to another streamer through a host, and then started finding them in this other person's stream more often than mine. And I was I didn't realize that I was jealous.
Yeah.
I had to be honest with myself. I was like, I think I'm jealous. Like,
yeah.
They didn't steal my viewer. I introduced them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gave them away. Yeah.
But also, if they're more entertaining for this individual, that's where they should be, right? This is, people are choosing to spend their time with us in our channels, listening to whatever we're doing. That's powerful. That's every person, like you said this earlier, every single person matters. Every viewer
every
matters.
person that comes in, yeah. Absolutely.
Everyone.
Especially the trolls as well. Especially the people who don't, especially the people who come in with an agenda as well. They all matter, I think.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're running out of questions. This has been awesome, Stag. I really appreciate you making time. I appreciate you working with me on working out, what day and everything at a time.
Yeah, it's been good. I've had a good time. It's been productive.
I look forward to. Can you drop your links again for the game? So in case you guys didn't catch the whole interview, I will be posting this on YouTube. Let's see. Let's throw exclamation point YouTube in the chat. Let's see if Tidy Lab's working. Boom. So that's the playlist of every one of these Fireside Chats we've ever done, and I'm going to put Stag's video at the top of that list and share it with him. So if you guys want to watch the whole interview, you can. I followed Stag because of Joe. Oh, well, that's awesome. Oh, hey, Mavis. See, that's cool.
Yeah, Mavis came out, and I know her.
So, Diluvian game. Is the
That's the
name?
website. Yeah, we got a brand spanking new website here.
Actually, I'm gonna have to
All the
check that
fancy
out
stuff.
today too.
Oh, it's amazing, Joe. It's
Oh
amazing.
shit! Look at
So
this, dude. You got a sick ass loading screen and
I
stuff.
know.
Oh my
Now
god,
listen, this
that's
website was
amazing.
set up for free by people who came on the D Live and saw my channel and were like, "Oh man, these guys don't have a website. Fuck, I'm gonna make one for them for free." And then be like, "Oh," I was like amazed at the quality of it. And then they were like,
So look,
"Here you go."
if you guys want to keep up with this game and play it as it's developed, will you drop your Patreon link too? You can
I will do.
you
Yes.
can support Stag on Patreon, and that gives you access to the game as he's
So
building it.
if you want to try out what we're working on right now, fresh off the shelf or wherever it comes from, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and any amount is hugely appreciated. It really does help us continue to do what we do, and it means that the game is going to get made sooner. Um, Even if you just come to the channel and watch the stream and just sort of chat, I mean
Mhm.
that's again enough. It doesn't really matter if there's no monetary donations there. I don't really expect it. So yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Joe. It's been pretty cool. I've been enjoyed it. Yeah,
I'm good.
and I
You
did.
know what? Your greatest compliment that you said earlier was, "I would normally be working on the game, but I haven't been." Right?
I was,
I appreciate
yeah,
that, that
I
you were
was
that
considering
engaged.
working in the background on the game. Yeah, that's how much of an addict I am. Uh,
No, but I appreciate that this was an engaging enough
yeah,
conversation to entertain your brain, which is clearly you're
and
brilliant.
thank you. Um, and again, I didn't realize that the impact you watching the stream as well had for you as well. I didn't realize that you had such a strong reaction to it. You know,
Yeah.
knowing the process of how a game is made as well. So it's
But see,
very
that's why it's so important to get you on here and tell
mm,
you that, right? I think
mm,
that's what was so important to me to have these fireside chats. Like there are
mm,
so many incredible people that don't know they're incredible. And
mm.
somebody just needs to go, "Hey man, you changed my
Thank you.
life and you're
Mm.
awesome and thanks." Like
Great. It's good to hear that. It's
that's
good to hear.
helpful, right? Like that's
Mm,
awesome. And
mm,
like that's how guys, that's how you're going to be successful as a streamer. That's how D Live is going to be successful as a group, as a company, as a community. We have to genuinely care and enrich each other's lives, right? Like that's the difference. Stag, we nailed it earlier. What I'm not getting what I
yeah.
need. I'm not well, yeah, but what are you contributing?
Mm. And I think a point that I've learned recently is, I think, very valid at this point. Um, some people have the opinion of them because there's a lot of people in the world. Obviously, there's 7 billion people or 8 billion, whatever, and they think they can be so small in that only one person in a sea of other people. But it's not really like that. It's a network. You
Hmm.
know that you're separated by 6 people. If you know one person, that person knows another person, and you can link everybody in the world
Seven
to
degrees of Kevin Bacon.
exactly right.
I
Now,
know it.
if you think about that, really, if you positively influence somebody, and that ripples down from all it needs is that change happens to the next person and the
Hmm.
next person. You're influencing a network around you that is doing more good than you know.
Hmm.
So it really matters that how you treat people, and especially in where we're so connected like this now, it matters even more. I mean, this might not even be 6 now; it might even be 3 because there's 45 people here are watching. Think about if you times that 45 by 45 by 45. Think about how many
Right.
people exponentially goes up. Um, so don't think of yourself as like alone uh, in a massive world. Think of yourself as part of a network. That your actions matter like more than you realize.
Hmm.
I think it's
Absolutely.
important to have that in mind.
Thanks, man. It's been
Well, yeah,
awesome.
it's been good. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I don't know if you want to, and this is just a YouTube thing. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. I ask people's first names. If you'd like to
Yeah,
share that, you
yeah, it's
bet.
Tim.
Tim, okay.
Tim. Yeah.
So, do you prefer people call you Stag or Stagnation or
Oh well,
Tim?
whatever they prefer.
Okay. All right. And
Tim
before
is
we
fine.
wrap up, can you please tell people your regular streaming schedule? And I know it's not exact, but just give them, a rough idea.
Yeah, I stream pretty much whenever I want. I stream a lot actually, so if you just come to the channel, you'll probably find me streaming. If you go to the Discord as well on my channel, all the links are in the description. You'll see that. But yeah, at the moment I'm sort of doing 10 hours here, 12 hours here, and that sort of stuff on the regular. So you're bound to see me somewhere. And we talk about game development. We've got about two or three other people working on the game as well. So we're always in the voice chat discussing what we're doing and game development related stuff and all other stuff as well. And so if you want to hang out, feel free to come by.
Are you going to be
And
streaming
anyone's welcome.
today?
Yeah, I'll be streaming after this. I'm going to take a
Okay.
break and
Okay.
say hi to my girlfriend. But yeah,
Okay. So you guys
feel
can
free to come
actually
in.
catch Stag live here
Yeah,
shortly
I'll be
at
streaming tonight.
Stagnation. Um,
Hmm.
Actually, can you somebody drop his link again, or you can too, sir?
Well,
Um,
I'll just put this down here, and then people can go to that channel there.
okay.
You just click on my name right there, and then you can go.
So again, if you guys want to see this interview in its entirety, or you really enjoyed it and you want more fireside chats, this is literally 52. So there are 50 plus of these shows that range from 2 to 4.5 hours. And it's all about D Live and the streamers on D Live. And it's about helping you understand these individuals and get to know them, but also help you understand what live streaming is and how to do it. So thanks for being here, Stag. You're
No problem.
one of the you're one of the reasons why I am not going to leave D Live. I'm going to continue
Oh,
to stay and push and
that means a
you
lot,
know.
man. Yeah. Hopefully, we can sort of talk again in the future if you want to hang out. Just to let me know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, if you don't mind hanging out for me for just a second, I'd like to wrap up and then I'll be right back with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you, my friend. All right, guys, so this has been another Fireside Chat. That's Stagnation. Obviously, just a great dude. He's been on D Live for the last year. Incredibly talented digital artist. And if that's your thing, then you're going to have a really good time in his channel. And honestly, that's how I found him. But I go back because he's a good dude. Like, I just like talking to him. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important thing to say, right? Like, don't be so worried about, are you creating the best gameplay or the best whatever it is you're doing? Just do what you can do and have a nice time, and other people will see that and also have a nice time. That's how it works. So anyway, I love you guys. I really do. Wherever you are in the world, I wish you all the best. And you know what? I'm gonna introduce you to another friend of mine. Most of you probably know her. Killer Queen is live streaming right now, and we like to pass on the love. So if you guys would like to meet another great person, um, come on, come with me. Anyway, I'll see you for the next Fireside Chat. Aloha for now.